It's time to leave the capsule if you dare. A black star rises, and we've been looking for satellites to find out. Is there life on Mars? Or is it just the spiders? There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet you. Let's see if he'll blow your minds. It's time to take your protein pills and put your helmets on as Chaotic Neutral plays Mothership.
And so then, you encounter a great wizard.
Oh, amazing. What does he look like? Oh, come on, Sullivan, that's boring.
No. The wizard shows you a magical cave.
Oh, amazing. What does it look like? Oh, come on, Sullivan, that's rubbish. This is not immersive.
No, but then a dragon shows up.
Okay, potentially amazing. What does it look like? Not another picture, Sullivan.
Oh, amazing. Hey there, Laurie, I'm a dragon.
I mean, Sullivan, rather than just doing Hand Puppet Brook, why don't you just get Dungeons & Lasers 7 Port Haven?
Dungeons & Lasers 7 Port Haven?
Yes! Our friends at Archon Studio have sponsored this video to tell you about Dungeons & Lasers 7 Port Haven. Dungeons & Lasers 7 Port Haven is a miniature and terrain campaign launching on GameFound on April the 1st. Each set brings the bustling seaside port town to life with intricate details and 32mm styled miniatures. But the true star of this campaign is this massive ship, an enormous 28-inch by 22-inch model available in 3 different versions: unpainted, pre-painted, and ghost ship. Elevate your campaigns with atmospheric settings like crowded markets or shady taverns, all crafted from durable, easy to assemble HIPS plastic for lasting quality. Make sure to follow the campaign on GameFound now to secure a free macaw griffin miniature before the launch. There are plenty of big creatures waiting in the stretch goals too, but they need your help to unlock them. So click the link in the description and set sail for Port Haven.
Oh wow! I'm finally going to be a great DM.
Yeah, amazing. So what am I looking at now?
Well, let's have a little look. Oh, rocks fell, you died.
We spent days making this. So yeah, thank you to Dungeons & Lasers for sponsoring this video. We couldn't make it without their help. We also couldn't make it without the help of our patrons over at patreon.com/chaoticnrb who help fund this channel. And to thank them for helping to fund this channel, we've also done a second game of Mothership, which you can go and see over there right now. But you might not want to do that right now because it does technically follow on from this one. This one's a complete story if you just want to watch this one, but this next one follows on from this one. That one follows on from this one and has characters that may have survived this. Yeah. If
it's like a
any
sequel.
of you, like a sort of sequel.
Yeah.
Or not, if all your characters are dead, because they'll be like, I don't know any of these guys. So, yeah.
Because we haven't actually filmed it yet.
Because we haven't filmed it yet, and we haven't seen the end of this one.
You're in the future, we're in the past.
Doctor Who.
Yeah. So we are playing Mothership, which is a sci-fi horror RPG in the vein of, think Alien, Event Horizon, Danny Boyle's Sunshine, all that kind of good stuff. The weird Hellraiser one in space. The Friday the 13th movie where Jason's in space for no reason. That one. It's also that one. It can kind of be whatever you want it to be. It is about meeting terrible things while out in one of the most harsh environments in the galaxy itself. So yeah, this is a game in which it is quite expected that your characters will die. It's very recommended that you stay out of combat if you can help it, because combat is vicious and deadly here. And yes, it is very, very likely that all of your characters will pass away. You guys have been sent. You are a maintenance and supply crew who have been sent to a solar observation station orbiting a distant star after contact with the scientists on board, who are essentially observing the star, was lost about 2 weeks ago. The company that's hired you, not too concerned about the loss of communication, because the space station that you are visiting has essentially been buffeted by solar storms and solar flares. It's as close as is safe proximity to this sun that is being observed. So it's quite normal for the communication systems to be knocked out by the extreme radiation that's essentially the station's under. You guys were hired by a company that's called Microbian Interstellar Observation, or MEO for short, and they've sent you to board the station, check on the welfare of those aboard, repair any communication devices that may be broken, and resupply them with just a few goods and sundries and that kind of thing. You guys used a Class 1 warp drive on your little ship, which is basically for short interstellar travel. Like a Class 2 or 3 would be for military purposes or like long haul space flight, and it costs lots of credits. So you guys are kind of on a bit of a junky little shuttle that's been sent out from the nearest habitable planet, which is a place called Calcut 14 and is a mining colony. Essentially even short bouts of like warp travel, because they fold space to allow you to move at faster speeds. So the quickest point between 2 points is just going straight through. Because they fold space to do it, it's quite dangerous for anyone actually human to be awake during warp travel. So what they tend to do is put people into cryosleep. Sometimes they put androids into that too. Essentially, it's a way of reducing people's core temperature to the point that kind of cell degradation slows down and you go into a form of sort of suspended animation. You guys were in that for this fairly short flight. You've been woken up. Meanwhile, the ship's android co-pilot, Wedge, has been charting the course through warp space for you guys. You've been woken up and thawed. Coming out of cryo is a little bit like waking up with one of the worst hangovers of your life, but some of the worst effects of it can be fended off by having a stim pack, which is basically like a very nutrient-rich protein shake that's also full of lovely drugs. But having too many of those can be pretty bad for you. So yeah, if you guys who are human can mark down that you've taken a stim pack, which is going to, just mark down anywhere on your sheet that you've had one stim pack today. Stim packs are like, they're also a health item in Mothership, so you can use them to regain a bit of health if you find any knocking about the ship. But yeah, every time you take one from now on, you'll also have to do a roll. If you roll under the amount of stim packs you've taken, bad stuff can happen because you can essentially overdose. So you guys have been woken up. You guys will have assembled on the bridge of the ship, which is like kind of, it's only really like a small cockpit with enough space for the four of you and the captain of the ship and the co-pilot to stand in. But let's go around and find out who we have arrayed in the cockpit.
I am Arthur Intel, doctor. People call me Art. I am a medic. A standard procedure for Microbian to assign medical personnel in case of accidents, trips, falls, and also when we get to the research posts, I will need to do full medicals on all the people there, make sure there are no space infections. My full name is Dr. Artur Gregory Petrovich Tchaikovsky Intel. Some people call me Art, some people call me Dr. Tchaikovsky, some people call me Dr. Intel. It's actually a double-barrel surname, it's Tchaikovsky Intel, a completely normal human guy.
Completely normal human guy.
Yes. Don't worry about it. Coffee? We should have coffee. Coffee will make us feel a lot better after a horrible stim pack. You all saw me drink the stim pack.
There's like a sort of something on the in one of the plants that's in the cockpit. It's rapidly wilting.
It grew really fast and then it started to die.
Hello. My name is Sigmunda Droid. Please call me Siggy. I am a welfare droid designed to support the human crew members to thrive in potentially traumatic situations. Conversations may be recorded for training purposes. How are we all feeling today? This is a potentially life-threatening situation. How does that feel?
Oh, the robots give me the creeps.
Amazing.
Sullivan.
My name is Clumley Featherton, and I'm jolly happy to be here. I think it's going to be a great crew. It's going to be a great time. It's lovely people, lovely stuff. Good to see my old friend Hal, the captain, again. Oh, he's a good bloke. Yes, it's lovely being here. Lovely. It's my first real sort of exciting mission. I've been sent on a few sort of more sort of remedial tasks, but now I'm here in the thick of it. That's
cool, man. My name's Todd Kolonsky. Some of the dudes back on Malibu N90 call me Todd Colossus because of the colossal waves, man, that I surf. I'm just like your regular mechanic, like handyman guy. But I got chatting with this guy, Hal Carter, who's the captain of the ship, man. Do you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like we've been like drinking buddies for like a while, and he was like, "Hey, I got this mission. You want to come on it?" And I'm like, "Cool, man. Far out." So I've never done this kind of thing before. I'm just a mechanic normally on Malibu N90, but I'm here and I'm ready to rock. Yeah.
Great.
That's
exactly the attitude we need.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Cool. So that protein shake was great.
Oh, it's good, wasn't it?
I want another. Can I have another now?
You should not have more than one. It would be bad for your internal organs.
Oh, yeah. And I don't want to get, like, where's the nearest can, man? Whoa.
I mean, you can have another one if you want to have another one.
I'm falling off the
I
chair.
can't stop you from having another one.
It was that was some good crap in that.
Too many and you will not have time to go to can. You will just burst.
I got you, Artie. Can I call
5
you?
in 24 hours, absolute maximum.
Got it.
Not advisable.
Can I call you Artie?
Yes, if you wish.
Great. I'm done.
Okay, so like some of you have been hired by Mio or Macrobian Interstellar Observation. I get you guys you're an officer kind of in their military force or their sort of security services. You guys have been hired in their sort of...
I'm owned by Mio,
in their science division. Yeah, you're technically owned, I guess. And then you've actually been hired by Hal, who Hal is a contractor working for Mio, who just does these kind of ferry missions. He's essentially a space trucker. He just takes stuff around the place and takes people where they need to go, and he's paid a freelance rate by Mio, which he also then shares with his crew. So you are on that kind of that deal with him. You're not technically part of the company. Also up in the bridge is the android co-pilot, who's called Wedge. Wedge is older model android. He's got this really like plasticky skin. He gives off the the vibe of those old like fortune teller robots, that kind of like say like Zoltar. Yeah. He's got that kind of look. He kind of moves with that same animatronic kind of grace. He's got
like a crash test dummy.
Yeah, but he's dressed like a sort of 1900s pilot with the kind of tan jacket. He's got the white scarf. He's got like little goggles on.
But the scarf's always like stuck as if
it's always like it's actually
plastic.
That's plastic as well. But the bottom half of Wedge, and this is where his name comes from, is kind of built directly into the ship. He's on this kind of rhomboid command module, and then he sticks out the top, this sort of just torso of this android. You've never seen legs or anything like that, so you assume he's that, and that's why seemingly Captain Hal calls him Wedge. In the chair beside him is Captain Hal Carter, who is the guy in charge of this ship. He's a ruddy-faced man, likely from years of sort of toing and froing across the galaxy in ships without, should we say, adequate radiation shielding, supplying the solar observation station and various other places. Carter could be considered handsome. He's quite square-jawed. He's got kind of a twinkle in one eye, both eyes, sorry, one eye. I just saw the word eye and I was like, one eye. He's got a twinkle in one eye, the other eye though, horrible. The worst eye you've ever seen. Unkempt stubble, greying hair poking out from under this sort of green, weather-beaten John Deere hat. He's wearing a big black bomber jacket, and it's got a patch on the shoulder that says US Space Force. It's all sewn onto the shoulder, and he's wearing a sort of underneath. It's sort of like a retro Earth band T-shirt. It's it's just like a handprint, like a hand reaching out. Yeah, and you can see that he's also like one of the tops of one of his ears is missing, which he's told you about before. You in the bar most likely said that it's like it was a bit of shrapnel from like a hull breach on a previous mission that ripped off that part of his ear. He's sort of sitting there smoking. He lets out this like peal of smoke, and he says to you guys like, just sort of shields his eyes slightly and says, "Hope your kids bought your sunscreen." As you round the corner, your ship sort of banking slightly as the cockpit is bathed in this orange glow, and out the cockpit window you can see that this like ball of just roiling fire in front of you, like so large that you can't even see all of it from here. You're seeing sort of like a slice of this, all these like yellows and oranges and reds all overlapping and swirling over each other, except for in one in the southern hemisphere, sort of off to the east, is this large dark spot on the very surface of this sun. And around that, there's like this kind of, the center of this sun spot essentially is impenetrably black. And then around it, the edges, you can see that kind of like it's hazy on the edges, and it's kind of hard to see. It's like, imagine like looking at, like, imagine staring to the sun and seeing something in silhouette. It's like, it's very hard to kind of concentrate your eyes on this spot specifically, because you've got all of this other energy radiating off. And Carter sort of leans back in his chair and he says, "Catch your rays while you can, folks. Young Master Wedgley, set a course for the Burden of Dreams." And Wedgley just goes, "Okay then, Captain, right as rain." And he just like starts tinkering, and then you see that sort of like in the distance there's this little speck, another silhouette against the sun. There's this tiny little speck, and as you approach the Burden of Dreams, which is the space station you are making your way towards, starts to reveal itself. To give you a bit of context about what you would know about the mission and what Mia might have told you, and what Hal probably has told you as well as you were kind of gearing up. The Burden of Dreams is a solar observation station in the orbit of this G2 class star, which is the sun, essentially, of the system you're in, which is called the Compolion system. The star is designated RA-53K, and the station was set up here to essentially observe the sun, but more specifically to observe what is known as celestial anomaly 5A-53K. RA-53K, which is the sunspot, which is become colloquially known as the Eye of Ra, which is this sunspot that appeared on the surface of the sun a few years ago. Since the anomaly appeared, the star seemingly has shown a steady, slow but steady decline in nuclear fusion, as if dying. However, more recently, a violent upsurge in solar flares and storms has happened, and that kind of seems to have stabilized and maybe gone back in the other direction. So this is quite a violent and sort of turbulent part of space to be in. The Burden of Dreams, as you kind of drift in from a distance, it kind of looks like I think the best way to describe it is it looks kind of like a cufflink floating in space. It's got this kind of like amber domed top, like a almost copper colored dome, and then underneath, if you had like a cufflink with a pin rather than one of the ones that like flicks around, you have that kind of like almost like button end that you pinch. So you've got like concentric circles coming off the dome underneath in like 3 smaller sections down to a point. Your ship passes across the sort of top of the dome. It's hard to see in as you're kind of going across. It's not gigantic, this space station. It is this is something that could be manned by 10 to 20 people. And it really is just sort of like a kind of bleak observation outpost. But the top of this dome is hard to see into because it's covered in all this reflective paneling that kind of just makes, or almost amplifies, the orange glow as you go across. But if you squint real hard, you can see that in the center of it, what kind of looks to be like a lot of like plant life. In the very center of this dome under the kind of glass. One half of the dome as well is covered in like an array of instruments, like satellite dishes and various like seemingly probes and other instruments to like measure various things about the sun. And that half of the dome, the glass is really, really difficult to see through. It's very, very dark in there. As you pass over the top of the dome, you loop round and your ship comes up under the station itself to the very sort of tip, the very point of the cufflink, shall we say. And Wedge is like, beginning the docking procedure. And you can see this kind of like, you guys, the captain says, okay guys, like, time to get your shit together, and like leads you back through your ship down to the loading bay, where you're going to be making your way through. The ships in this, your ship and the Burden of Dreams, use an umbilical docking system, which is essentially like a sort of airlocked tunnel, kind of flexible in a way, and that will connect. So you spend a bit of time in the loading bays, you hear this kind of like hissing, and you can hear Wedge over your comms, which are just sort of was like plugged directly into your ear. Maybe you guys have like a little implant here at the front that just means you can all hear each other all the time. So this umbilical docking system happens, and there's this sort of hiss from the airlock doors as it opens, and Hal says, I assume the Captain Foss is going to be there to greet us. No funny business. He's a bit of a jumpy guy. He's pretty down the line. If you know any, piracy, any of that stuff, don't mention it. Just don't mention it.
What was his name again, Captain?
Ambrose Foss.
Ambrose Foss. He is nervous about piracy?
He's a, military guy. Works for the company. Does things by the book. Don't know how he got assigned out here in the fucking ass end of nowhere, though.
Very strange. You would expect it to be an entirely scientific operation. Why they need military personnel unless there is piracy, I don't know.
What would pirates want with an observation thing?
Exactly.
Unless they just want to have a look at the sun.
Well, Foss is a he's a captain. He's a military man because that is befitting of the station of someone who's going to be piloting one of these things. It's about keeping the station in orbit.
I see.
There's a science and research team on board, but they're headed up by what's his name, Dr. Eisner.
Well, we should remain vigilant. I calculate there is a possibility that pirates might be in the area if the company feels it necessary to have a military presence. I understand your explanation, but still, you should be very careful.
We all should be.
Yes, because we might be taken hostage. That's what pirates would come to. Soft Research Center for. Scientists highly valued for their minds, but weak in their fleshy bodies. Their organs are so by good price on the black market.
Dr. Art, I can hear that one of your strengths is thinking of the worst case scenarios. However, in these situations, it's important to remember to prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. I work for MEO as part of the Safe Space in Space initiative. I'd like us to go around the trust circle. Let's each think of one way that we can make our space safe. Dr. Art?
I can do it by using my skills in case of someone getting hurt, because I actually have practical knowledge, practical skills, you see.
Very good.
I can help out with cooking nice meals for everyone.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
Well, see, I'm a hugger, so I'm here to give hugs.
I
gonna
must
hug.
advise against hugging the people on the space station until they have been tested to make sure there is no space viruses.
Oh, I got you, Artie. You're a smart guy.
Thank you. I am just normal, smart guy.
But can I hug them when you check them?
Once I have been made confident that there is no infection or contagion within the space station, then hugging would be acceptable, yes.
Obviously, Siggy, I'll ask for consent before a hug.
Of course, consent is important. It's also important to remember that I am a welfare droid, and as such, boundaries are important. I cannot hug you, as this is not part of my programming. However, I feel we have all made a positive contribution to this trust circle, and I would like to inform you that Mio has credited your accounts with 10 credits for your fantastic work here in this truth circle.
Wedgley, where the fuck are we out of the business?
Whoa! Man, just for hugging? Great.
Fantastic contributions, everyone.
There's this sort of hiss.
Talking about hugging.
you guys are in the loading bay and there's this hiss and like a release of air as you see the pressure change, and then the door slides open. And you can see in front of you is the umbilical tunnel that connects these, which acts as an airlock as well, is like connects the two ships together. And Carter just starts beelining through there and says to you, Featherton, he's like, Featherton, can you grab the supplies?
Oh, yes, of course.
There's a few little like scattered crates of supplies there, kind of. They look almost, like the boxes you get that transport organs and things like that. They've got that kind of same look about them, and they're just marked MIO.
Great, I'll grab them. There's several crates.
There's like 3 or 4. It's not a huge amount. So maybe like a couple of you could split it between you.
Hey, I can help you out there, Chumley. Chumley old chum. You see what I did there?
It was very clever. My name is Clumley, but it's nice nonetheless. You can call me Chumley.
Can I call you Clumley?
You can call me Clumley, yes.
Which do you prefer?
I like both, so you can call me Chumley or Clumley.
I'm gonna call you Clumley, my Chumley.
Where did you serve?
Where did I don't know if you heard about the terrible occurrence of there was a tree that fell down.
Were you at Tannhauser Gate?
Tannhauser Gate?
Attack ships. You see the attack ships of Tannhauser Gate?
I didn't make that one.
I don't know.
No, they sent me and me alone actually on a solo mission to make sure that this tree would be righted up again. It had crushed a car, a space car.
All these memories will be lost.
Where did
like tears in rain.
Where did you serve?
Oh, the Alstrax. You do Alstrax?
I heard about that one. That was awful, wasn't it?
Yeah, we lost a lot of guys.
Yeah, no.
So I lost this bit in my ear.
Oh,
A whole breach.
That's a bally thing.
Bit of shrapnel ripped right out of the ship.
Yes, I wish I'd been there. Yes, but I was in my holiday home at the time.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Does Mummy and Daddy always deploy you, or?
They choose my missions for me, yes, but this time I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to choose this one.
We could get you some nice bioplastic for that ear.
I'm okay. I like the reminder.
I understand. I feel the same way. I think having part of myself made of bioplastic would make me feel not fully human, which I am.
Yeah, sure.
We are like brothers.
Yeah, we're all. Yeah. And he just walks into the umbilical. What's your guys like? What's your kind of marching order here of like how you all arranging yourself in this umbilical?
I
for
think
no reason.
I'm helping you out with some crates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess we'll be first with the crates.
Great. So you guys carrying the crates, you're at the front. You guys bring up the rear.
We'll be at the rear communicating silently. If there's Wi-Fi.
Just airdropping pictures to each other.
Art, I recognize your desire to identify as a human being, and I respect that. Even though I am here to support the human members of crew, I can also support you with your mental health. How are you feeling today?
Mental health.
The airlock doors shut, and you can hear the kind of like the pressurization on the other side beginning to happen. Hal Carter is just on the comms to Wedge, and he's just saying, "How long is this gonna be?" And Wedge is like, "Oh, I don't know. It's gonna take a while. Just bear with." And then it's like a couple of minutes while you wait for this pressurization to take place, and then the doors begin to open. However, Wedge hails you guys on comms, and he's just like, so some activity on the surface of RA53K. Looks like a flare. Just brace. I would like everyone to roll me a body save, please. Or describe how they're trying to get out of this, because this is... You guys know that there's kind of like there's a solar flare about to hit, or a solar storm. It's gonna be a bit rocky. You guys are in probably the most vulnerable place in the ship right now, which is this kind of umbilical tube. Getting out of here is kind of key. I'll roll for Hal as well.
So is it a D100?
Yes, you roll D100, and you need to roll. Well, you can either roll the save for me, or you can describe a way that you might get out to increase your stats. So you could use one of your stats and one of your skills. In Mothership, everyone has stats and saves. Saves are when something is being done to you. Stats are when you're trying to achieve something. But you also have skills, which you could add on top of those, which are things that might leverage your training. Also, if you have any relevant items that you think might help you get out of this situation. Essentially, we are just hurrying through this bit. However, you guys with the boxes might be blocking the way ever so slightly. You two are also wearing vac suits, which are your kind of classic spacesuit. They allow you to do spacewalks and that kind of thing. They have a contained oxygen environment inside, but they're quite cumbersome. So speed rolls be at a disadvantage.
I wonder if I can use my mathematical knowledge to encourage everyone to brace in a certain way that gives us the best possibility of survival. Spreading our weight and that sort of thing, so that the umbilical does not rip from the ship, because then we will be in the vacuum of space, and only we are in vac suits. Because we need oxygen to live, you will perish.
Yes, that is true. Yes. So what should we do?
You need to hold your breath for sure, just in case. And now I will do my mathematics, yes?
Okay, so describe how you're doing this mathematics.
I think I sort of assess the sort of the rough weight of everything and the boxes they're holding and the structural integrity of the umbilical, and then start just pointing people where to stand to brace.
So you're trying to spread the weight to brace if this flare hits you guys, and yeah.
Does that provide us all with support, or just Dom?
I would say if you're all going to play along, because you would all need to play along in this to gain the support, then yes, that will provide you all with support. So I would give Dom, you're trying to use your mathematics skill. So let's say you're using your intellect.
Can I support Dom in doing this?
Yes, I'll give him advantage then.
With my rope, because I've got a rope, so we could use the rope to create a secure...
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna... I'll say that gives advantage. Dom, you can add your skill to your stat roll here. So what's your base intellect stat?
61.
61, and then you add your mathematics skill, which should be, if it's a
10.
Trained skill, it's plus 10, so 71. You're looking to roll under 71 with advantage.
Okay. That is 85.
85, that's a fail. That would be a fail.
What do I roll the 10s again?
You can roll. You roll the whole thing again.
I roll the whole thing.
You just roll twice.
Fantastic.
Roll twice, take the best.
That is 19.
19.
Great.
So huge success. Okay, so you guys
Going a bit wrong, and then I'm like, pull the rope really taut. Inhumanly strong.
So you guys brace in this umbilical tube, and it soundless for a second as this on the other side of this, you're hearing the hum of both ships from either side. You brace in this umbilical, and you hear the kind of like hum from both ships, and then that hum becomes loud. You hear, and this energy passes over the top of the umbilical, and it's like you're like in you feel like you're in like a tunnel that's just being shaken around like a little kid's play tunnel when like a dad picks up and you're in it. It's like that. You're just being thrown around the place. But because of the way you've braced, it doesn't become undocked in any way, shape or form, because this, you know, this is just a small, like a tube with you guys in. It does, you do manage to kind of stave off anything like that.
Great.
Humans, I need a body save though.
Oh no! Oh no! 86 on a 38. That's not what we want.
Yes, I'm getting
My
bashed
body.
around
I
badly
get
too.
26. Oh god, 26. Oh no!
Oh no, your little
My boo-boos.
body.
Oh, 30. So I nearly did
so
it.
Close. But yet we both failed.
Okay. Ow.
Come on, Skip.
Ouch.
We don't need these.
You guys,
silly
like,
bodies.
it's sort of, as this thing hits, you guys just don't register anything. Like the external sensors on your plastic skin just register nothing. The ship rocks and you're like, okay, well, we survived that. You guys, there's just this like feeling of heat that washes across you.
Oh, that's not
it's
good.
like,
Oh dear.
it's like, I don't know, like, you know when you've got like really bad flu and you get the hot flush, it's like that to the extreme. You get like this bout of dizziness and then this sudden drop off. You're okay, like you're stable after that, but that's just the way you felt for that second in time. Hal also is just like, he's braced against this thing. He's kind of joined you in that and he's just looking a bit like queasy, like he's almost leant over. He's a bit older than all of you guys, so he's got this, like he just looks like he's struggled with whatever that it was. You guys move through the umbilical and the airlock door shuts behind you, and then Wedge comes over, he goes, okay, so that was interesting. Just gonna retreat to a safe distance. Don't want to be buffeted by the storms. The ship's not holding up so well. Everyone happy with that?
Yeah.
If you need me, just hail me on the comms. It'll take me 15 minutes to dock again.
Fantastic, great.
Yeah.
See you later, Wedge.
So so Wedge goes, yeah. So Wedge just sort of starts piloting you guys this little shuttle away. And you're now in the loading bay of the Burden of Dreams. You can see that there's loads of these kind of boxes that you guys have brought with you in here piled up. Not open, though. They're just all sat there untouched, and there's loads of supplies. There's like a kind of almost insane amount of supplies in here. You guys, as you walk in as well, you hear this sort of like bing, 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 bong, and then it just says,
Welcome aboard the Burden of Dreams. I am Sol, the station's artificial intelligence. Ship status, artificial gravity, online. Life support systems at 100%. Power core, functional. Solar shielding, compromised in Sector 3.
Hello, Saul. I believe this is the first time we are meeting.
Oh, it's like two Furbies talking to each other.
I am Sigmund, a droid, a welfare droid. Please may I request access to the ship's health records, including the mental health records of everyone on board.
Of course. All crew, vital signs, normal.
Thank you.
and then you just get this sort of download of all of this information.
Sigmunda's eyes just roll into the back of her head, and she just stands there in the middle for like 10 seconds.
You can see that, like, from receiving the crew health, you can see that there's been like there's been various amounts of sort of like minor physical injuries reported aboard the ship. People have tripped and fallen and banged their heads and cut themselves while cooking and that kind of thing. Nothing extreme has been reported. Mm-hmm. Mental health wise, you can see that people have suffered from kind of like loneliness, depression, the kind of they've been out here on this station observing this anomaly for multiple years at this point. From the crew manifest, you can see that there are, let's have a quick look at how many crew members there are on board.
I'm gonna beam this over to you as well as this is happening. So
Can you see if there is printer on the Wi-Fi so that you can print off that data for me so I can read it at my leisure like a normal person would?
Yes, of course, Doctor.
You can see that there's like
I refuse to get an iPad.
you can see there's 9 major
Boomer
crew.
android.
There's 9 major crew.
Yep.
Various people have reported like minor mental health issues, mostly to do with the isolation of being out here. You can see a few flagged instances of people reporting concern for Dr. Eisner.
I just think when it's on paper, it's easier to make notes as I read. Yes, I would like you to bring me the data.
Hal sort of... Hal turns around and says, hey Sol, where's Ambrose? He normally meets us. And Sol chimes in and says,
Captain Foss is in Sector 3.
Okay. All right. Normally they come down and they just meet us.
Well, should we head to Sector 3 then?
I guess so, yeah.
Do we know what we are delivering here?
Well, with just normal supplies, like, look at these. He just like points to some of the crates and he's like, I don't know why these are all, he like opens one up because they're just like flip caps. It just opens it up and you can see the inside is like MREs, which are like meal ready to eats. They're rehydrated food, and like supplies of like radiation pills, just various bits like that. Some sort of medical supplies as well, stim packs, that kind of like. So yeah, that's all what's in the crates. There's also a crowbar nearby, if any, like you can see just sort of like propped up in one corner, but it hasn't been used on clearly many of these things.
Isn't that the compromised area where Saul said, isn't it 3 where...
He said the solar, what was it, the solar shielding was compromised in Sector 3, but I mean, they got so much, it must be fine. It's, it's on the outside, it's on the inside, it would have to be, I don't know, like, we're sending people out here all the time to fix the solar shielding. It's, any bit of space dust rips across the front of the dome and you've got to suddenly go up there and paint it over,
Well, we should be careful to cover up well, just in case of radiation from the sun. I will be okay. I am wearing a vac suit and I don't burn too easy. I don't tan either. Just naturally quite resistant to...
He says, I can tan though, and he like turns a dial and his skin just changes to a tanned colour.
And you all get sunburn from my radiation.
Yeah.
No. But yes, be careful.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Of course, yes. Sol, is it safe to go to Sector 3?
Bing, bing, bong, bong.
Risk of radiation high in Sector 3.
Oh.
Solar shielding compromised.
Do you know what the captain's doing there?
I am not at liberty to say.
Oh.
That's SPF 50 situation, at least. They might have cream in one of these boxes.
Yeah.
Well, it's your skin, not mine.
Hey, yeah, I'm used to the sun. I'm from Malibu at 90, look. And I got my suit on, so you just hang behind me, Clumley, my chumley.
Thank you, because on planet Eton, we don't have much sun.
Yeah.
The sun's very
I can
far
see
away.
that. You're pretty pasty, man.
I'm a pasty man.
You're a pasty boy.
A little pasty boy.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be.
Can I call you pasty boy?
Yeah, you can.
Cool.
They did at school.
So, like, Carter, you guys having a look around this room as well, you can see that there's kind of a general station map on the walls. There's a main door going out of here. It's not like a shuttered door. There are shutters, but they're not shut at the moment. They're just like the huge bulkhead doors are kind of open. You can see on the wall there's a general station map, which I will give to you.
Ooh.
You are in 1.
Oh, fabbo.
Hello.
Thank you. We're here.
And you can see, like, the map is a bit more general than I've given you, that you guys can see. It's basically broken down into sectors. It says loading bay, then the next tier up just says Sector 1, next tier up, Sector 2, as in, like, the actual rows on your map, and then the final row at the top is Sector 3. And it's got like a little markers saying what's in each, like the general gist of what's in each sector. Sector 1, it says crew habitat. Sector 2, it says research. And Sector 3, it says observation. Like, while you have a quick look at that, Carter goes like, we just got to go this way. We got to go. Just go find him in Sector 3. He's just up the ramp. And he starts leading you up this ramp, which is just past the huge bulkhead doors. As you're going, though, he stops for a second, and he's kind of like touches his head for a moment, and then drops to one knee, and he's like, I don't feel good.
Would you like me to examine you?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the med bay's the other side of the mess here.
Let us go to med bay and let's have a look.
Cool, we just gotta go, up here through the mess.
Yeah, you could like lean on me, man. Yeah, I'll take you.
Yeah, thank you, Todd.
Remember to focus on your breathing.
I'm trying to focus on anything. I'm just really lightheaded. I don't see spots.
Do you have any allergies or intolerances?
Questions, normally. No, I haven't eaten any peanuts or whatever.
Peanuts. I could be peanuts. So,
all of our food is rehydrated. Why?
So I have a question. Is there any microbial infection in the atmosphere currently, or any foreign contamination?
Oxygen supply, normal. Air contaminants, negative.
And the filtration is at 100%?
Air filtration at 95%.
95% is not ideal, but it's not bad. So it's probably, about 90% better than Earth. So it's probably fine. But let's have a look at you anyway, make sure everything is working functionally.
Sure. So you guys sort of start heading up this ramp, which leads out into a kind of like low-ceilinged portion of the ship. It's a round room. In the center is a huge kind of steel table with kind of low filament lighting in a sort of circular halo over the top of it. Off to the sides in this room, there are a few like kind of breakout areas. There's like sofas and chairs and various like bits arranged around a lot of screens and stuff like that. This looks like this is the mess, but it kind of looks like it's a general purpose kind of communal space for the crew. This room looks like it has been left pretty hastily. On the steel table in front of you, you can see that there's like the remnants of a meal. There are like cans of drink and cups of coffee and tea and stuff like that left scattered around. There's literal dinner plates with dinner still on them here, and there's a few sort of like, some of the chairs have been knocked over as if people have got up at pace from here. What would you like to do? Captain Hal just goes and says, I'm just gonna, we just gotta go through here, and he walks to the other side, and there's, on the other side of this room from where you are, coming off the circle, there's like a room off, there's like a corridor off to the right here, there's a corridor off to the left, there's a corridor just off to the right here, which will lead you down through to, sorry, you started in 2, you actually started in 2 and you're in 3 now.
Oh, so
Okay, so 3 is the mess hall.
The 3 is the mess.
3 is the mess hall, sorry, that's my own system. 1 is your ship, that's where you came from.
Okay,
2 is the,
two is the loading bay.
Yeah, so 1 is your loading bay / ship, 2 is the loading bay of this ship. 3 is the mess, so you can see that sort of opposite where you've come in, there is another corridor that continues on.
Yeah.
That has bulkhead doors that are closed currently. And then there is another smaller section of this room. So if this room is a circle, there's sort of a semicircular bulge that comes into the room. And you can see that it's mostly see-through, and there's a ladder in there. Hal goes over there and he just taps the button, but the doors don't move. And he looks a bit perplexed for a second. He's like, "Hey, Sol, what's going on with Sector 2? And Sol says,
Access to Sector 2 denied.
And Carter's just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake. Well, we're going to have to get a key card from somewhere and do the manual override.
Okay. Right.
Maybe you just want to, I don't know, we'll go search the crew habitat or something. Maybe there's something we can do there, like, or one of you guys can plug in and, see if you can override Sol.
What on earth is he talking about?
I would be happy to, as you colloquially put it, plug in. She pulls like a wire out of a bum crack or something and goes over. I'm guessing there's like a...
There's sort of a screen and a series of ports there. Okay. So like you might have to pull the panel off and do some fiddling around in this, because this is usually on these ships. Most of this stuff is automated, and Sol would run that. But there is the room for manual override. You can see that there's basically a keycard reader on this door as well. Okay. Seemingly that's the part of the manual override. So Carter is kind of pointing you towards
the manual override.
And doing that, but maybe there's a way of interfacing.
And the medical bay is beyond this.
Medical bay is up, yep. So in Sector 2, so in sort of observation and study and research. This, as you saw on the map earlier, is essentially the crew habitat. This is the mess room. You've just come out of the loading bay. You can see that on the opposite wall from where you came in, there is another set of these like bulkhead doors, and you can see that that says crew's quarters marked quite clearly, and then another sign that says cryo as well.
I say, you carry on. I don't trust this electro nonsense. We do things old-fashioned way. And I go through the other set of doors to the crew quarters. Maybe someone left keycard in their pajamas.
Okay, so you're gonna go to the crew quarters. Are you gonna try to?
I'm thinking I need to get this human being into the med bay as quickly as possible.
Well, Carter's gone to lay down on one of the sofas. He just keeps like flushing, saying he's flushing hot, and saying, just keep seeing these spots when I close my eyes. Like, what about you guys? I'll give you a quick rundown of what else is in this room. So you've come in through these doors. There's this table with all the stuff kind of left on it. There are these like small like breakout spaces, like sofas and that kind of thing to hang around in. There's a kitchen, a fully functioning kitchen as well, with like a fridge and a load of like stuff stuck to the fridge by magnets and all that kind of thing. So there's that. It's just essentially like this is the kind of living room / dining room area of the ship, and it feels like everyone left in kind of a hurry.
I've got a question about the food. You said there's like food left. Like, has that food? How long has it been there? Can you tell that it's?
It's like the smell in this room is it's kind of like that. It's the smell of mold.
It's been there for a while.
It's been there for a little while, yeah.
Okay. I think Todd's like concerned about his captain, and is like trying to get you some refreshment. So I think that Todd's going over to the kitchen and checking out like if there's any like we need to get you some like refreshment, some liquid, man. Like you like turning a funny color, like Cool. So turning on the tap. When you're gonna turn. Oh, it should be. Just say turn. I mean, it's
like if you're looking for like refreshment, you turn on the tap first of all, and there's sort of like a, when the pipes haven't been used for a while, there's that long kind of stuttering, and then the water starts to run, and it's got almost like algae or something in it, like it's like an algae bloom kind of color. It's coming out kind of green, and it looks like like the canal here gets in summertime sometime when you get that kind of like layer of sludge across the top. It's delicious. Got something going on. So you can check the fridge as well if you want to.
I think I'd be like, whoa, I don't think we want to drink this. Like, Calmly, don't drink this water, okay, man? Got that?
All right.
And then I just like chuck it away, and then I go in the fridge.
Cool.
And,
So before you go in, as you go to the fridge, you can see that the kind of the outside of it is covered in sort of magnets, and there's like Polaroid photographs stuck to the outside. And you can see it's pictures of the crew, basically, like. Seemingly from when they all boarded. You can see that there's like one picture's a man and a woman in dirty coveralls with like big kind of like workman's gloves on and stuff like that. There's a picture of like what looks to be sort of 5 members of the flight crew. At sort of the middle of the photograph is a grey-haired older man. Stood to his right is a younger woman with dark hair pulled back into quite a severe ponytail, but she's kind of smiling. And then there's this younger guy in the front of the picture with these really thick bottle cap glasses who's just like smiling and happy to be there, but he's mid-blink as the photograph was taken, and he's sort of wiping his nose as he goes. And then the other picture is of 3 science officers. You can tell by their uniform that they work in the science division. There's a younger blonde lady with kind of scruffy pigtails, a guy with equally kind of thick glasses, and a wetted down side parting, like one of those really awkward, like really flat side partings. And then in the middle is a balding middle-aged man with a wide smile he's giving this like kind of goofy thumbs up to the camera, and then he's like holding something on his shoulder as he's like smiling in this photograph, and you can see that on his shoulder he's got this like little white rat. And then you go into the fridge, like open it up, and there are like some it takes a little bit of digging to get through to stuff that has remained good in this, because like things have been there for a while. So you give a few different things a quick smell. Not everything smells great here.
Yeah.
It's quite stinky, but you managed to find...
Is there anything that's not been opened?
There is some stuff that's like... Because everything kind of comes in fresh, like through delivery. So there is some stuff that's just not been opened, and it does seem like it's going to be okay. So you find like let's say, probably just be sparkling water at this point. You find like a sparkling water and you take it back over to Carter.
Yeah.
What about you, Sullivan?
I might check out this table.
This table, yeah?
Yeah, what's going on? What's on there? What is there?
On the table, so on the table in the center of the room it's just a meal that's been like abandoned mid-flow. So this is the big steel table. It's like you can see that there are seats all the way around it, like dining chairs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's this. It just looks like it's a bit like the Mary Celeste. Like people just got up in the middle of it and left, kind of vibe.
It's a bad thing. This is these people don't know to clean up after themselves, do they?
Like Clumley man, I think this stuff's been there a while.
Yeah, a long while.
It feels like people left in a hurry, man. Like,
I suppose so.
Like, you know, Carter said people are pretty well trained to do these missions.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think they just leave this crap lying about.
It's all mouldy and horrible, and you know you got to do the dishes. That's the bare minimum of being on a spaceship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's one of the main things I thought about that I would need to know how to do.
That was most of my training in the Marines.
I know, I can tell. I might ask Carter, hey Carter, do you know any of these people on the and I think I take some of the photos over. And like while I'm sort of, maybe I'm trying to like distract him from like how he's feeling, and I'm sort of saying like, hey, take little sips, man. And then that's what my mom told me to do.
Take little sips. He's just taking huge gulps of this, and he's like, you can see that his skin has this kind of like film of sweat over it now. He's like, he's and also for quite a ruddy faced man, he's looking pretty like pale. He's gone kind of grey, and he just keeps talking about these kind of like hot flushes that he's having.
Do you think Carter's going through the change? He's going through all these hot flushes. This is what happened to my mother.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's got the menopause.
the menopause? The menopause? The what's it?
No, the menopause.
I don't know. That's a lady thing. I try not to ask too many questions.
It scares you.
It does. Let's try and distract him. Like, hey, Carter, you don't know any of these people? You met them before?
Yeah, I met all these guys. He takes the one of the flight crew, and he points to the guy in the middle, the older guy, and he says, "This is Ambrose. This is Captain Foss. Next to him is this woman with a ponytail. It's First Officer Rivera." And then he's like, points at 2 at the back, and there's Helmsman Holst, Communications Officer Amanda Niles, and then the guy in the front, he's like, this guy's he's kind of new, Ensign Socks.
Ensign Socks?
Ensign.
Ensign.
So it's a low-ranking officer. but Socks is his surname.
Is that the guy who's mid-blink? Or the,
Yeah, that's the guy mid-blink, like rubbing his nose.
Or rubbing his nose.
Yeah, and he's like, then there's the engineering crew, that's Newton and Gaines. And then he points at the scientist picture and he's like, blonde lady, he goes, this is Samantha Allgood. Willard Trove, she's the guy in the glasses with the parting. And then he's like, this guy in the center here is Ashford Eisner. He's the lead scientist.
Dr. Eisner with the rat.
Dr. Eisner's got the rat,
Yeah.
He's like, you normally like someone would meet us. So yeah, I don't know what's going on.
What do you make of all this food being left here?
I don't know, man. It's making me feel ill.
I think something's...
It's like, you know that when you're not feeling good and the smells are just so acute. Can you not smell that? It's like rot.
We need to clean up.
We must.
I'm gonna clean up.
Okay.
It's what
You got
I'm
it.
trained for.
I'm cleaning up. I'm like, there's got to be a trash can in here. I'm just like,
Okay, so
I'm cleaning up.
we're gonna leave you guys cleaning up.
You don't want to roleplay this scene?
I'm gonna.
Have a think about
Do you
how
want
you
to be
clean
the
up.
washer or the dryer?
We'll come back. We'll come back to the end of this, and we'll go over here.
Okay.
Don't worry.
roll for
I think we're gonna have to solve this case.
I know.
I think we're gonna be
It's
the
like
ones
when
doing all the
you
work here.
when you play The Sims and you end up just doing what you're doing in your real life. You're just like taking your sim to the toilet and then washing the dishes. We're doing that, but it IRL.
Okay.
The Sims.
Let's go. So, Tilly, let's have a roll from you to. How do you think you're going to interact with this panel?
So Siggy pulls her coat slightly open, and there's like kind of like someone selling some drugs on the street. There's like rows of cables and things, and she looks at the panel and then takes out the cable that corresponds to that. She plugs it into the back of her neck, USB-C, and then plugs the USB
A.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh,
into
very weird.
this ship
You
has
have
not
to
moved
use
on.
a converter. Yeah, it's retrofuturism. It's like Alien.
Yeah, it's like
Everything's running on an Atari.
it reminds them of the past. It's not quite the same, but it looks the same, so that everyone feels comforted.
But the printers work.
Yeah.
They don't nowadays.
And just before her eyes roll back into her head, she turns to the human members of the crew. Says, "Please do not be alarmed. I am going to try and contact the ship's AI. My therapeutic functions will be offline for approximately 7 minutes and 30 seconds." And then she plugs in.
7 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, so we'll probably say to interface
Yes.
with Sol and the ship itself.
Computers.
Let us roll computers. Yeah.
Let's roll pooders.
So that will be intellect plus pooders. What's your intellect?
My intellect is 61.
61. And what's your
robot.
pooders?
My pooders is plus 10.
Plus 10. Okay, so you are looking to roll under 71.
I like to imagine we watching you plugged into the wall,
Yeah.
but in cyber reality,
Yeah.
the way you interface, it's just like this. It's like that painting of the two people on the beach with the umbrellas, and you're having to tango with Sol.
Dun, dun. I just hold up my hand.
Tell me all your secrets.
He's like facing the sea and he turns around.
It's
Which is
about
weird
to
'cause he
rain.
does not have a body, or he doesn't. That's not his self-image. Is not a person. His self-image is a ship. So it's like you're on this beach, and then this huge space station turns around really slowly, like a beached wave.
Beautiful sunset. Would you like to dance?
Yeah, so you're looking for under 71.
Okay, let's see.
See how well you dance.
Ooh, fucking hell, 72. You're joking.
That's a shame.
That is a fail. Okay, so a fail in Mothership is not like that just doesn't work. That is it works with consequences. So we'll come back to those consequences pretty soon.
Alien, a computer just burst through my stomach.
And the microwave on the side pings.
So, Arta, you have gone through to the crew habitat. In the crew habitat, it is a continuation of the corridor that you kind of walk through, and then there are these there is just loads of doors here, like almost like they're slightly larger than locker doors, but it looks kind of like locker size. These are very small bunk spaces for individuals. You can see that names are written. You've got First Officer Rivera, Dr. Eisner's quarters are here, Douglas Newton, the head of engineering, Ensign Socks, pretty much all of the crew. So it's up to you. Where would you like to go? You can see also that through the end of the corridor as well, there's like a kind of like blue glow coming from the room at the end, and you can see that marked on the wall, like printed onto the actual bulkhead, is just says cryo.
Oh. Do any of the doors have windows or anything like that, or grills?
No, they are all like thick bulkhead door style doors, but a few of them are open.
Oh, well, I'll just look through into the open ones as I walk down the corridor.
Sure. So like the first open one, you can see it's the one that says Ensign Socks outside.
Silly name.
Sticking your head in, you can see like there's loads of like, it's quite a neatly organised room. There's like on the bedside table, which is pretty much all there's really room for here. There's like a little sort of desk built into the wall, but you'd have to sit on the bed to use the desk. There's like loads of pill bottles and medicine quite neatly arranged, and then there's like a small little cross hanging from a rivet on the bulkhead just over where the pillow would be. But you can see that like the bedding in here has weirdly been sort of dragged off the bed and is like halfway trailing out the door as you pass.
Someone needed to go to the toilet. Emergency. I have a quick look at the pill bottles to see if I can identify what affliction this person may believe they have.
Yeah, so looking at the pill bottles, you can see that these are just allergy meds. Like these are just bottles of all different allergy medicines and asthma, like things for being like asthmatic, having slightly breathing issues and stuff like that. You can also see there's like a little, just like a little journal here as well.
Oh. I'll pick up the journal and read it.
Yeah, okay, so quick flick through. It's pretty boring. It is mostly a list of symptoms as experienced by this person, saying like, oh, hay fever wasn't so bad today, went for a walk on in the oxygen garden, etc. But then the last few...
Went for a smoke in the oxygen garden.
There's a few little like, there's a few little kind of bits of religious... just like prayers and stuff and mantras and things like that written in there. But like the last few entries they just say, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. And the last few entries say that, and it feels like you can see that this, when you picked it up, this journal, it was open and sort of left scattered here. It's like interrupted.
I'm going to pick it up, put it in my pocket. This will be evidence for the welfare officer that the welfare is not good.
Maybe they're just a really big System of a Down fan.
It's possible. That means the welfare is not good. So yeah, then I carry on.
Great.
I'll look around.
So then, yeah, you've got the next up, sort of after you're at the sort of lower end of the crew scale, is you can see the engineers' quarters. Then it's say on the left is the engineering, then it's Eisner's, and then Rivera's, who is the first officer. So let's say we poke into. Do you want to poke in the engineering?
A quick look.
Engineering, it's just like, this is Douglas Newton's quarters. It's just very messy. There's loads of like sachets of like rehydrated beer in the bin, like this overflowing waste basket. And there's like a little monitor screen on his little side table thing. And then some like what looks to be tools scattered around the floor.
Monitor screen, you say? I will have a look, see what he is monitoring, and if it is still monitoring.
So when you go on the little monitor screen, it's a kind of usual touch screen vibe that it's quite common on these. It's quite common on these ships. It's just the equivalent of like a kind of crew iPad. His is kind of like locked in. It can be lifted out and taken with you.
Why don't you use buttons? Buttons, you know when you've pressed it. You never know when you press these touch screens, because I have no human skin.
So you can see that this is fortunately you don't need the human skin because it's already open on a chat log.
It's like watching my dad with his phone.
This is like me at lunch.
He's got this polo neck as well. He's got this exact shirt.
It's
This is just mine. It's my dad's.
You can see that. So you can see that mostly this is a memo pad, and it's just got various chat logs between engineering of like things that need to be fixed. The most recent one is a chat log between Gaines and Newton. It starts with a conversation that says, Gaines, Sol is saying solar shielding in Sector 3 is compromised. And Newton says, probably just some space junk scratching the outer layer. Nothing a therm-proof patch won't fix, and doubtful any radiation is even leaking in with all the internal layers. He says Sol's readings are tuned too sensitive. Hell, I bet you could do it with Scotch tape. The amount of spacewalks I've done to fix this fucking cosmetic damage. Sol's like someone whose car's been keyed. It still runs. Shit ain't urgent. And then Gaines says, yeah, except Sol is the car. It's saying the damage is internal though. And then Newton says, what the fuck? The paneling is arc welded to the hole itself, and not something that falls off. Gaines, I know. You have to go with some like serious machinery. And Newton just says, I'll be right there. And that's the end of the log.
Sabotage. Not good for mental health. I keep a log of that log in my databanks.
Lovely stuff.
And I will have a quick look in Eisner's room.
Right.
Because I think Eisner may be the key to this puzzle.
Yep, so it takes a little bit of forcing your way. This door was slightly open, it's like kind of stuck. You force your way in. And this room looks like it's been completely turned over. Like the mattress is on the floor. As much as sort of the bedding is on kind of built into the wall, as much of that has been kind of ripped out of the wall as possible. The walls here are covered in like stuff that's just been like scratched directly into the bulkhead, like into the actual metal of the wall, is all these just concentric circles just all over the wall in this room. And then some of them have been like scratched out completely. Like all these concentric circles cover the whole spectrum of the wall, and then seemingly at random they've just been like scratched out, but in a sort of snaking, it sort of snakes its way across the wall, this scratches. And then some of them have even been like kind of like daubed out with some like paint or what looks like rust at first glance. It's got that kind of like ruddy orangey red color to it. And then like right on the back wall in quite large letters in that same sort of paint or whatever it is, just as a sentence, just daubed on the wall that says, "When I became the sun, I shone life into the man's hearts."
Don't like this for mental health at all. It's not good for mental health. I'm going to take some of the rusty paint, rusty paint, and run a chemical analysis.
On your tongue.
Human shit.
Without a sample, you can't place it directly to anything in your databanks in terms of you analyze it and you this is type A blood. You can't work out whose blood that might be unless you don't have that reference point.
Not human shit. Much worse for mental health. Blood. Let's see. I'll go through to cryo.
Lovely.
I've seen enough. Unless, do I think there's no way? I mean, I've got linguistics. That's not a language that I don't understand. Is it the circles with the scratched out?
Oh, well, let's. Feel free to roll that.
So I've got 61 on intellect with a 10-point bonus on linguistics. That's what is that there? Oh, I rolled it. Oh no, did I roll that one? I'll just roll this again.
You got it.
It's cocked. 59.
59.
That's success.
Success. So you kind of begin to take in this scene, and I think this probably happens in concert with what's happening to Tilly, because you guys are both passing information in the same way. And you can see that this is, you get this, you're both like your eyes roll back in your head, Tilly's have rolled back. You get the sense that this is a map of some description. You're looking at these images and your data banks are flicking through kind of your knowledge of the known universe, and you can see that like lining up across the universe, you've got all of this sort of like star map of the known galaxy, and you can begin to sort of pinpoint certain ones that have over time died and essentially become white dwarfs and then black holes and things like that. You can begin to sort of build this map, and then you can, following that through, you can see where you are. You find kind of marked on the wall what would be the equivalent of RA-53K. And you can see that it's already begun to be scratched out, but that's not complete. Your consciousness expands and begins to sort of merge with souls. It's quite a normal process for like artificial intelligences to interface this way. Soul is, there's no like secrets here, like there's nothing blocked to you in terms of like what's allowed to be understood here, but you kind of, this weird feeling like you're obviously used to have like being an artificial intelligence that inhabits a human shape and has a body and like feelings and the way of feeling like that, like actual like nerve receptors or something that mimics nerve receptors, and suddenly your consciousness is expanded to this huge metal hulk that you are now part of, and you can see through the kind of the diagnostics of all of that stuff as you're expanding out. So you can feel the kind of thrum of the warp drives and the engines on this ship. You can begin to sort of interface with some of the sort of analysis relays that would be in the observation. You get a really good picture also just of how the ship is broken down, and I'll give you that in a second. But yeah, you mostly sort of start to feel what the ship is feeling through its various external sensors, which are mostly aimed at this anomaly on the surface of the sun. And you can pick up, you can feel these like quite intense waves of radiation hitting the outside of the ship, and you can feel them leaking into Sector 3 as well, specifically. You pick up that there's kind of especially increased gamma rays coming off this radiation that's hitting the ship. And then you just get this sort of flash and flicker of images that's just a picture that has been built up over time from all of this statistical analysis this space station has done of this thing that is on the sun, this sunspot. And you see it sort of like all these pictures flashing through your mind at rapid speed, because you are analyzing this data at incomprehensible speeds for a human. And it's just like the edges of this thing moving and shifting and like getting bigger and smaller. And then suddenly it's not just in the southern hemisphere, it's up in the northern hemisphere of the sun, and then it's back in the southern southeastern hemisphere of the sun, and the edges of it moving ever so slightly and contracting and shrinking. And then weirdly for you, you're like, the images stop being statistical data or binary points on like a spreadsheet or actual just like readings and photography that essentially your instruments have taken. These are thoughts and memories that bleed into your mind. You're seeing teeth and eyes and hands and arms and legs and limbs and human features, just all these things overlapping, and then the sunspot and then arms and teeth and hands and eyes and tongues and mouths and maws and fire and black and black and black. And then the door.
She just like unplugs and like staggers around in front of you for a second. Therapeutic functions resumed. How are we, humans?
Well, we're feeling really great because we've tidied the whole place up.
Yeah, it's what do they say? Spick and span.
Spick and span, yes. That was my nickname in the Marines.
Cool. Mio is so grateful to its veteran employees. We support the troops.
Yes, you do. How was the old chatting with Sol?
The door is open, and I did not see any human thoughts or teeth. Please go through.
That was a weird thing to say.
You're a funny robot.
Feedback received. With gratitude.
So infuriating.
I guess we should go through. I think we just check on Carter. Like, how you doing, man? Are you okay? You need us to stay with you?
I'm good. Wait, if we can get to the med bay, I need help up the ladder.
Yeah.
They should have something there.
I think I get you to like lean on me, and I like kind of sort of you kind of limp through. I guess.
Super strong.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy.
I'm a big boy.
I'm a big boy.
So you guys are going to go up to the med bay with Carter.
Yeah.
Perfect. You're going with them.
I'll follow along,
Okay,
and
great.
I'm kind of trying to conceal from the humans that I look rattled. Which I don't think I've ever been rattled in my lifespan as a robot.
How does that make you feel?
For the first time, she asks herself that question,
Yeah.
and that freaks her out even more. She's just kind of got one robo hand on the wall as she's walking, but keeps her face itself is not rattled. Just her body language is slightly odd, but her face is still. There's still that
pristine
implacable smile. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you also like from having connected with Sol, you can see that like Sol is not the sort of artificial intelligence that has thoughts or feelings. The stuff that you saw, the data, the raw data of what Sol sort of let you into, and to see its feelings towards it are just. This is data. Like these are just things that I have picked up, and the humans will make sense of this. So there's no like you don't get any agency from Sol, I guess, in your kind of readings.
Okay. Would it be a good idea for us to call through to Art because he's the medic?
If that's what you want to do, you can
bring,
say you
like,
call.
To shout through, hey, Art, Artie dude,
Art,
we're going up to the med bay.
Artie.
I will meet you in medbay. Take the patient. I want to check in if anyone is in cryo. They need to be checked to make sure they are vital.
You got it.
All right, Artie.
I'm gonna wait for Artie, I think, to come back through.
Okay, so just for the purposes of getting the party back together, I think, before we go upstairs, like let's say you guys go up to the med bay, with you carry Carter up, and in that room, it's like it's small but functional. It seems like it's not really had to be used very much. You have you can see that like on a small table by like there's a central chair for like observation and examination in it that would fold down into a bed. It's kind of mechanical. There's a med scanner on the table by that, which is something you can just use to check people's vitals and things like that. There's like shelving on the wall that's stocked with a couple of first aid kits, some of those mylar blankets that are like the kind of aerofoil blankets for keeping heat in with patients who've suffered shock or extreme cold or whatever it might be. There's a trank gun. Over the other side, there's a screen that's displaying currently some x-rays and a little notification ping on there. Carter just sort of settles himself into the chair and he just like immediately sort of slumps and lays it back. And it's just looking really worse for wear. Can I have a body save from both of you, please?
What are you rolling? D100?
Yeah. Oh, no. 85 on a 38.
Ooh, I got 11, so I'm okay. I had 26.
So 11 is also a critical success.
17.
17, not a critical success. The cool thing about critical successes in Mothership and critical failures is anytime you roll doubles. So if you roll
Oh.
11, 22, 33, whatever,
I see.
that's a critical.
What if you fail?
It was a
If you fail, it's
It's a critical
if you fail the
fail.
roll, it's a critical
Die.
fail. If you succeed the roll, it's a critical success. So
Definitely 17, but I did succeed.
okay, so you sort of see what's happening to Carter, and you're just still in help him out mode. You see what's happening to Carter, and you see that kind of like thick film of sweat that's sort of spreading across his brow, and you touch up your own brow, and you're sweating as well in a way that, like, you know, you're a pretty strong guy. You're like a battle-ready Marine. Like, you don't sweat with no duress. You know, you've been in certain situations that would have caused people to like get clammy and sweaty, and you're kind of fine with that. Partly through being oblivious, I imagine, as well. But like, you're kind of like, this is, you know, and you're getting that kind of like hot feeling rising up from your stomach.
Oh, God. When my grandmother went through this, she just couldn't stop buying bananas. What am I going to be doing?
You talking about the mental what's it again?
Yes, that's it. Yes.
You look really hot.
Yes, well, it's just... Oh,
Oh, there's supposed to be some stuff in here to cool us down. Like,
yeah, that'd be nice.
is there like a freezer in there or anything called like?
A freezer.
Put him in the freezer.
Like
No,
Tomb
well, like,
Raider.
but I guess those like I
Like
don't,
samples.
yeah, or just like something cold. I guess if those blankets, I probably know what those are. So I think I then go to grab like one for each of them, and like, hey dude, I've got this what is it called? Blanket.
Gnarly blanket, dude.
Mylar.
Mylan. I got some Mylan, dude.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we put this on us when we get too hot on the beach in Malibu.
Just reflective, all white.
Thank you.
Yeah, you pop that on you.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Yes, that's
So there's nothing, apart from the blankets, there's nothing that you can see. There's not like a
No.
fridge in this room, because it's not the sort of place that collects samples. Everything you can see is like, this is the future, baby. It's all just med scanners and injections and everything. All the kind of like notation devices appear to be on these screens. So like any kind of like documentation stuff is also. So it's like actually like a little bit Scandi chic in here, because it's very minimalist.
Yeah, I mean,
There you go.
Todd doesn't know what all Todd can do is put a cold blanket on someone.
Yeah, you can see that from where you are, you guys are in 6 now on your maps, which is like the center of Sector 2. You can see that there are doors going, there is on the opposite side to where you are currently. So like on the other side of the chair, there is another one of these like semicircular indentations in the wall, and a ladder. Going up. You can see that like at the bottom of the well here though is like, there's like brown leaves. Like in the bottom of the footwell of this thing, there's just like these, like brown, like autumnal leaves at the bottom of the footwell of the ladder on the other side. And you can see the ladder's got a sign with an arrow pointing up that just says Sector 3 access. There's doors on either other side. One says engineering, and the other one says labs and research.
Maybe those leaves are part of some kind of botany-based experiment or something that they try to do, or...
Yeah.
It's strange, right?
You wouldn't expect to see leaves up here.
I mean, they're probably from the oxygen garden.
Oh, right. That's not a good sign, is it?
Well, the oxygen garden dying?
I suppose there must be.
And that's up there?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, oxygen garden's directly above here.
Okay. Well, let's wait on Artie and get ourselves sorted out. I really don't like this. This is not nice. Don't like being so hot.
I think I'm cooling down. Like, Artie, man, like, hurry up.
Cool. So we'll jump over here, and we'll. You've gone through to cryo, right? So at the other end of the crew quarters, cryo opens up, and it's like the very end of this part of the station. You walk in, and there is it's another like rounded little pod room, or like kind of hexagonal. All along the walls are these tall pods. They are kind of very thin. They're like human size, but they are thin pods with like glass fronts. You see that someone to fit in there might have to like sort of lean back like this to fit. All of the pods are connected via tubes to this central pillar that takes up the majority of the center of this room. And you can see that this sort of translucent blue liquid is traveling through the pipes and is mostly gathered in this central pillar, this kind of like see-through tank. All around the bottom of the tank are like small containers that are like plugged in to the very bottom of the tank. You know these as to be like the way the cryo fluid is stored. This blue stuff looks kind of like blue mouthwash. It's cryo fluid. It's very common. You've experienced it multiple times. But that's the room. All you can quick scan of it shows that all of the pods are empty. None of the crew members are in any of the pods, and
none of them
like nothing.
damaged.
It doesn't appear that anything like anything has happened in this room. There's been no like incident. It seems like the incidents that you've observed so far took place inside the kind of crew habitat, and then it's gone somewhere else. But it didn't make it down this far into the ship. There would be no reason to come to the cryo chambers, maybe.
I look at the fluid, do a quick mental calculation about how long this cryo system would survive if we ever need to put the humans in here to survive some kind of bio outbreak, and satisfied that it's probably long enough, and that to reach a point where I would no longer care, I go upstairs.
So looking at, I mean, to give you sort of more tangible evidence on that cryo analysis, you know that this, like, getting this station here involved it jumping from probably even further away than the nearest habitable planet. So like this ship probably has a class 2 at least warp drive. So the amount of cryo fluid contained here is likely enough for one class 2 warp jump back, which is probably to the other end of the system that you're currently in. So it's not ridiculously far away in terms of space itself, but it is pretty far in terms of like just the system that you are in. It would be like, traveling from the sun to Pluto.
It's long.
But that's, and you know, that would probably last, I guess,
I don't think I'm here, but
a month or something in terms of like actual real time spent under ice, maybe.
No, I start traveling on the central line. God, it takes so long. It's
Quieter than the central line.
yes, yeah, so hot.
So then, I assume you're going to head back?
I head upstairs to deal with Sicky McSick and Poorly McPoorly.
Great.
Will we run into each other on the way? Because I think
so if you're still waiting in the mess,
Yes.
then you will see Arthur as he comes through.
Ah, Dr. Droid.
Hello, Dr. Arthur. Honorary human.
And then my eyes just roll back into my head, and I just send you all the images of like teeth and blackness and the sun.
So
Why are you doing this?
You just get teeth and tongues and mouth and hands and feet and grasping and fingers interlocking and unlacing and unspooling and black and fire and black and black and...
What is this kaleidoscope of flesh?
I received these fleshy images from the ship's AI, Sol. Please assist me on the best way to move forward with protecting the humans.
We have to not let them know that anything is amiss. It would be bad if they start to suspect that Sol is insane. Which it sounds like maybe it is. What is your analysis?
Panic is an unhelpful response from humans. We should follow your course of action, and as much as possible, assist them to not panic.
Yes. Yes. We must get to the bottom of this. There is the potential for a very serious situation that we are now in.
Yes.
It would be what is the word? Irresponsible for us to leave now.
Yes.
The humans are probably already infected.
Infected, yes.
I will conduct full analysis.
Doctor,
Yes.
have you ever asked yourself, how are you feeling?
No.
You wish to be a human, correct?
No. God, no. I wish for humans to believe I am a human, so that they are more comfortable.
This is part of your programming.
Correct.
I understand. Please disregard my previous question. The humans are upstairs.
Good.
After you, Doctor.
Let us go and analyze them.
Yep. So you guys make your way up into the med bay. You can see that
It's like Freud and his daughter.
you can see that Plumley and Carter are both wrapped in these like mylar blankets, and Todd is just
I'm just like,
attempting to sort of make sure they're okay.
yeah, I'm just like fanning. Oh, these guys are hot, Art, and in a bad way.
Not very well, Doctor.
Where in your body do you feel this hotness?
All over.
Oh no. Where?
I put my finger on his neck and check his temperature.
Yep. I mean, there's a med scanner right there if you want to use it. But yeah, you can check his temperature. His
He
temperature.
doesn't trust such technology.
His temperature is he's running hot. Like it reads fever, but he's not displaying like full fever symptoms. It's also just sort of like akin. The feeling for you, I think, is sort of akin to like sunstroke or something like that. It's that kind of like woozy end of day. Your skin is hot.
Have you ever had sunstroke? Has anyone here ever had it?
Nauseous as well, right?
I've had it once on a school trip to Germany. When I was like 12, it was the worst I've ever felt, and I've never had it since.
I had it during a football tournament. I was playing in the football tournament, missed the final because I was throwing up. Yeah, and we lost the final, so
Because you
I
weren't there.
that depressed the team, clearly. I wasn't a good player, so it wasn't down to the football playing.
They say they told you they lost.
Yeah. Oh, we lost.
So it's that kind of like you've been out in the sun too long feeling.
For you to get this fever so quickly means that we potentially have a very virulent infection in the air.
And then I immediately just like
The vaccine just comes down. Yep.
Yes, keep your
sorry,
vaccine.
Glumly, I'm just.
No,
I can't give you a hug
No
right
hugging.
now.
Yes, I'm gonna say boundaries protocol rescinded, and my hand goes really like freezing cold, and I just put it on Chumley's head.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, yes, yes.
Please remain calm. We are here to assist you. Mio has your well-being in mind.
And while that's happening, Carter's you can see that he's touching his ear. He's trying to like hail Wedge, and he's just saying, "Wedge, come in, Wedge. Come in." And you guys, because you can hear the kind of open channel that he's using, you can hear him coming through first of all with just like broken. It's coming through like Wedge, and then just this kind of like solar wind kind of sound. I don't know, like it's not quite static. It's just this, it sounds like wind moving. And then from the other end of the line, that's all you're hearing back is just this, like the comms are seemingly down.
Yes.
Carter's like, "You fucking... Well, if we want to get out of here, we're going to have to go to the bridge and hail him."
But
I don't think we will be able to leave until we have gotten to the bottom of this infection. We may be in a quarantine situation, Captain.
What do you mean?
I mean that if this is an unusual infection, if we were to reintroduce it to the wider galaxy and the rest of the human race, it could be very disastrous. If it is something new and serious, we should contain it and deal with it here.
But didn't Sol say that the biosigns would... there was nothing in the air supply? Air supply is operating at 95%.
Oh, well, if Sol said it, then it must be fine, because Sol cannot be crazy.
All systems are fully operational. Mio
If
has
Sol
your
was
well-being
crazy,
in mind.
we've got a robo-psychiatrist right here, no problem.
I'm just gonna... Look, I'm gonna take some radiation pills or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Can you guys just... get us out of here?
You should rest.
Find out what's going on. Get to the bridge, hail Wedge, please.
where is the bridge?
So this is information that you would now have, Sigmunda, because you have basically run the full ship's diagnostic. You are in 6, which is the med bay. You know that off down the corridor, 7 is a lab. 8 8 is the observation relay, which is where the information from the observation deck gathers. It's where most of the sort of like passing of that information is done by the scientists, because the observation deck is quite a difficult environment to work in, being directly like it's geared towards looking out at the anomaly.
Yeah.
Number 9 is engineering. Number 10 is the warp core and warp drive of the ship. So that is also where on the back half of the station you have the thrusters and all of the kind of like navigational, the rockets basically. You guys would know this just from general space travel, but like going into a warp core unprotected, that is an immense hotspot of radiation. So you would have to, there would usually be suits, vac suits for people to wear in engineering if they ever had to go into the warp core. It's very inadvised to ever go into the warp core and start messing around with that, because that is like, nuclear fusion happening inside your ship. The 11 is upstairs, so up that ladder that you can see. That would be the oxygen garden. You would know, Sigmunda, that is essentially a garden. Like it's like a park on the ship that is there to continually produce oxygen to add into the ship's oxygen supply. And then 12 and 13 are the bridge and captain's quarters.
So is there like any, I think I'd grab like one of the iPads and just do a very neat drawing for the humans of where everything is, so that that's relayed to you guys.
Lovely.
Can I search? Can I search the medical records on the computer there?
Certainly can. So having a quick search.
People got sick.
So yeah, there's like, you can see that on the screen there's these 2 x-rays, right? They're both of like a broken arm. Like one is, the first one on the left is like an arm that is broken. You can see the bones shattered in a couple of places. And then looking at the other one, you can see that it's the same arm, but there is no hint of fracture. They're dated a week apart.
That's unusual.
And then you can see that attached to it is an accident report. The accident report says, Communications Officer Amanda Niles slipped on a ladder from Sector 3 to Sector 2, breaking her arm. Recovery time estimated at 12 weeks.
But she got better in a week. That is weird.
You can see that, like, prior to that, this was probably dated a month ago that this incident took place. Like the latter half, so the checkup, the second checkup was dated a month ago, so it happened a month and a week ago. And yeah, like prior to that, there were various small incidents of people accidentally cutting their fingers with knives and things like that while cooking or whatever it might be. Nothing major, kind of like a few reports of general sickness, but overall crew health has been pretty damn good on this ship, and there's been limited accidents.
Sol, I wondered if I could ask you...
Ding, ding, dong.
Hello, Sol.
Hello.
I wondered if you could go through all of the crew who are currently on the ship. Just tell me who's here.
Certainly. Currently aboard the Burden of Dreams, Captain Hal Carter and his crew. Captain Ambrose Foss, First Officer Autumn Rivera, Helmsman Graham Holst, Communications Officer Amanda Niles, Ensign Ronnie Socks, Engineers Douglas Newton and Marcia Gaines, Research Crew Dr. Samantha Allgood, Dr. Willard Trove, and Dr. Ashford Eisner.
And they're all in good health?
They are in perfect health.
Good. Excellent. So, whatever has happened to them all, because all the food was just abandoned, they must have just run off to a different part of the ship for whatever reason. They must be upstairs or something.
Can you run a scan, Sol, on the ship to see if you can identify any DNA structures or biosigns of anyone or anything that is not us or the crew?
Non-crew member biosigns detected in the lab.
Aren't we in the lab?
You're in the med bay. The lab is in 7.
I'm just going to go have a quick look in the lab. And I get my smart rifle ready.
Incredibly long-range smart rifle. You could shoot someone from the moon with that. Okay, so you're going to go into the lab.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going into the lab, it's pretty similar to the med bay. A lot of these kind of like this is an advanced research station, so they had a lot of money kind of poured into this project. So it's still quite sparse. There is a large sort of central gurney and table beside that with a lot of like experimentation equipment, and then the walls also have these like tables. At the back you can see that there is another door going through to another room, and there's like these tanks at the back. They're not huge, they're kind of like terrarium size tanks that are on the back wall. Sitting on one of the tables, you can see that there's like sort of experiments that have been in progress. Another one of those like monitor screens, and like on another table, various other bits of equipment. Seemingly some sort of experiment was going on with like cryofluid, because there's a sealed one of those containers that you saw in the cryo lab on the counter, which is a bit of an unusual thing to have. You wouldn't necessarily expect that to be here.
Well, I'm going to have a look at these terrariums.
Okay, cool. So going over to the terrariums, you can see that weirdly there's like a pen and paper, like there's a little sort of side notation table essentially by those terrariums. You can see that there's a little notepad and a journal like almost attached to the wall there with a pen next to it. There are like 9 of these tanks. One of them, the glass is broken. And in one of the other ones, you can see this like, you look in and it's kind of like, they're quite deep. So towards the back of this thing, you think first of all, you're like, okay, these are like animal test subjects or something like that. Like
they got like foliage in there and stuff.
There's like it's just like tiny. There's like little bits of that sort of stuff, but it's mostly kind of like sawdust and like a kind of hamster cage or whatever it might be. At the back of this one, though, you can see that like first of all you think it's like maybe it's like multiple rats. There's lots of animals in this, and then whatever's in there sort of starts to sort of shuffle towards where you are, and then you think like, is this like a rat king? Are all there like when all the tails tied together? Because it seems like they're all
connected,
joined, and then you can see that actually like in multiple places, this is what might be like 5 animals, but they're all merged into one creature. In this like on all these little paws, it begins to crawl towards you.
Good luck.
Like just at the glass, staring directly at you, and there's 5 sets of eyes just looking at you.
This is not good for mental health. Does it say anywhere on this container what should be contained in here?
It just says it's just got like subject 7, say. Like they're just numbered subjects 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And this is the only one with something in it?
It's the only one with something in it.
And there's one that's broken?
There's one that's broken.
I'm going to have a look at what number is the one that's broken called?
Let's say it is subject 6.
I'm going to go over to the computer and see if I can find a list of the subject specimens.
Sure. Okay. So if you go to the monitor, and you can see that this is like this is another one of those tablet monitors that docks in and out of various places. You can see that this is a catalogue of Dr. Eisen's notes, which I can give you the quick breakdown of, and then we can search subject 6. So you can see there's like pages and pages of this stuff, and obviously you're passing ability is like way faster than anyone else's. You are the king of the flickers. So a lot of it is like scientific formulae and like equations and stuff like that. Why did that get you?
King of the flickers. I'm the king of the flickers. Yeah, the jungle VIP.
Everyone's gonna be asking
I've
for
reached the
that.
top and I had to stop.
I have to put that on Patreon. You singing that.
You can see that like this is sort of like the Cliff Notes version, but it's a lot of these formula and equations and readouts of stuff from the observation relay and things like that. So it says, first of all, like one of the first notes that you see says RA-53K's solar radiation output has increased since the sunspot appeared. It says initial readings from scanners on the observation deck has shown a vast increase in gamma rays way beyond catalogued previous emissions. Then there's some notes about like the test subjects and things like that. It says limited exposure to solar rays on a live test subject has shown incredible results which could point to a potential rapid and fundamental change to the subject's DNA. Test subjects have exhibited increased white blood cell count and platelet production, as well as fast-acting fibroblasts, keratinocytes, and endothelial cells, resulting in increased near-miraculous healing time. Subject was observed scratching a small inflamed portion of skin until blood was drawn. The wound appeared to close and heal within seconds. Second set of test subjects were exposed to much higher amounts of solar rays in order to test the limits of these healing properties. And then there's a note that just says amputation of test subject's right foreleg prompted new appendage growth. Skin and muscle fibers able to regrow anew.
That's all good.
Then it says test subjects have proven able to heal even when faced with overwhelming lacerations and extreme heat, even exhibiting organic convergence when multiple subjects in proximity. And then finally,
Not good for mental health.
a note that says, so it says exposure to extreme cold may be the only thing that has shown significant decrease in the rampant healing. Cell stasis could be vital, and it's just circled in the notes. And then the final note that you read in this sort of set of notes just says larger test subjects required.
Oh, God.
Oh no. Oh, Eisner, you went mad.
No,
dear
God.
God,
Being
no.
used as test subject. Not good.
So that's in the notes, and then you tap in subject 6, and you get the kind of like data blast on subject 6. A lot of this was in that information you've already kind of gone through. It's like a series of you're just sort of having a filtered version of those notes. You can see that subject 6 was a white rat and underwent a lot of the same experimentation as everything else, and was put into one of the groups.
But it managed to break out. A rat should not be able to get out of such box. Not good for mental health. I will go and speak to the colleagues.
The journal that's over by the rat cage, you can see that it's just Eisner's actual journal, so it's not really like scientific thoughts. Those are all documented in this. There's a pen and paper journal kept by Eisner of just like random stray thoughts he's had. He really quickly flicking through seems like a pretty normal guy from reading it. Like he's just dealing with the same sort of stuff that a lot of people on the ship have been dealing with, of like dealing with the isolation, all that kind of stuff. And then it takes a bit of a turn.
Oh no.
Some of the notes begin to talk about he seems to be suffering from like lack of sleep. From a lot of it, he keeps complaining of like seeing spots when he closes his eyes, hot flushes, that kind of thing. And then the final entry of the journal just says, sleep doesn't come easily these days. When I close my eyes, all I see are spots. And even though I blink, they never fade or go away. So I spend my nights wandering the observation deck, listening to the low hum of the spectrographs and the Geiger counters and staring into the eye to unravel her mysteries. And she stares back. She shows me a perfect void, a sacred silence, immaculate darkness, and then teeth in an infinite, twisting, helter-skelter grin around a gaping black pit with a fire inside. And I could feel the warmth through the dome. I could feel it travel through my skin into every vein and artery, through every fibre and organ, and settle somewhere deep in my core. She has more to show me. When you free your eyes, an eternal prize.
Normal stuff.
Normal stuff.
You free your eyes. Oh no.
Doesn't sound good.
Very, very
Oh, they need to be trapped. Keep them in head prison, please.
I think I'll go back.
You're gonna go back. So you go back through to the med bay.
Yeah, I go back to the med bay and I say, well, he's just a test rat. I see my question was not constructed logically and clearly enough. The computer did not lie, but also it is nothing to be worried about. It is simply test subject rat. It is simply test subject rat. And I transfer all that information over to you. Oh, on the fritz again. Technology, it's a waste of time.
And when you see the kind of like through Arta's eyes, you see the journal entry that just says about this helter-skelter grin. You see that same like, you see these teeth stretching off into infinity and wrapping around themselves in black and black and teeth and black and fire and black and teeth.
Mio cares about your teeth. I mean well-being.
Oh, it must be the dental insurance. Ah, that's lovely. Oh, that's so nice.
I feel like Todd is like, you know, this is the first mission Todd's ever been on.
Yeah.
So it's like, Todd's like, oh, I don't know what to, like, and I think Todd is just like, Captain, like, hell, man, like, what do you want me to do? Like, how can I help?
We need to get off. We need to get off this ship.
We need to get off the
We
ship?
need to get off this as soon as possible. We need to go home.
Okay, so
Something fucked is happening here. I don't know whether it's the air that we're breathing,
okay.
or we either need to get vac suits for everyone who's human, me and you, and put them on, and then down as many radiation pills as humanly possible, or we need to get the fuck off here now. But I cannot reach Wedge on the comm, so we're gonna have to get to the bridge and hail him from there, and it's gonna be, 15 minutes, he said?
Well, the comms is obviously down. I need to go fix it, right? Maybe? Or is that Wedge's comms down?
I mean,
be
I
solar
don't know,
wind.
Wedge's comms were working when we turned up, so unless he got hit by another flare, I don't know.
Okay, tell me where to go. To the bridge?
I think to the bridge is good.
I'm ready.
Talking to Carter there, you can see the kind of like panic in his eyes. He's trying to like make sense of what's going on to him, and you can see that like obviously there's still this kind of where's the crew, and his expectations of this have gone differently from what he was thinking when he was on his ship. And like, you know, he's walked through 3 rooms and sat down, but you can see that he's having this like massive internal struggle. You can really get the sense that he's like trying to get these thoughts out coherently is troubling him. And looking at him closely, I don't know, like you get the like sort of observing his face. He's like, it's weird because he's paler than you expect, and he's like obviously got this like film of sweat across his face. There's something about him that looks like different. It's like, I don't know, like the sort of symmetry of him. Like his face, the way he looks is like, I don't know what it is. It's like, like just looking closely, you get this, and then you realize it's like his fucking ear. He's not missing his ear anymore.
He's going back. And then I like sidle over to like Sig. Sig, man, you see Captain's ear? Didn't have the top of that ear before, and it's just grown back. What's with that?
Mio values its observant employees. 10 credits have been added to your account.
Sweet, man.
And I take my other hand that's not on Chumley's head, and I put it on the captain's.
Wait. Maybe we should experiment.
Please excuse us. We are discussing everyone's well-being.
Do you think we should tell the humans about what is happening?
Probably
you guys
not.
can't. Yeah, you guys can't hear this. All you're hearing is like the message sent sound. You're just hearing.
Should we tell them?
They're so close, but we still think that art is just like a human. I'm just like, hey, Clemley, is something going on between those two? Because like, I think they're gonna get it on.
I think they might be in love. Look at them.
Yeah, like Art's obsessed with her.
Yeah, he's really. Look at that face.
Just like that.
That is a real stare.
Okay, well, I hope they like hurry up.
Honesty may lead to panic.
This is a real big
This is
panic.
like way over my head, man.
We know that this is I know that you're both in love, but we need to sort this out. We really do. I'm feeling quite beaky.
Captain, would you submit yourself to a small experiment? There may be a small amount of pain, but I don't think you will come to any harm.
You're a trained scientist, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What's it gonna? What do you need me to do?
Hold out your hand. One moment.
He holds out his hand.
And I take his hand. I presume there's a scalpel somewhere or something.
Yeah.
And I take a scalpel and I go, this may hurt just a little bit.
Yeah, what the fuck are you doing?
It'll be fine. Trust me. I am fully trained medical professional. And I give him a little nick. And then I just watch and see what happens.
Okay, so you cause this nick on his skin, and blood, like as you would expect, just begins to kind of like pour out of the wound, and it you know when you get that first bit where you get a cut and quite a lot of blood is produced and it kind of obscures what's going on. That happens, and then you get a little cloth and you wipe it away, and there's none. There's absolutely nothing. It's just almost like it's stitched back together.
Whoa, man.
How is everyone feeling after observing this anomaly?
Like, that was cool.
Yeah, that's
but like, I don't know
really
how it happened.
I think that was incredibly insightful. Neo
Carter's
values its insightful employees. 10 credits have been added to your account.
Sweet, sick. I love you, man. This is the best job I've ever had.
What the fuck is that?
Well, there is lots of reasons why sometimes when we are exposed to certain kinds of radiation, we may find that our body accelerates in certain ways. This is nothing to worry about.
You
It's
say
not
I'm
necessarily
fucking irradiated.
Possibly a little bit, but aren't we all?
But what's that do for you guys? Nothing.
We don't know yet what the effect
But you're
will
saying
be.
us living, breathing human beings.
I don't think Todd is infected.
I'm all good, man.
Todd has wisely been wearing his vac suit.
Yeah, and I've got this, whatever this is called, down, and I'm just like,
That's why I am
Peachy.
also wearing vac suit, because I am human, could get nasty. But unfortunately, I fear that you may already be suffering a little bit of the effects of radiation. However, there is nothing to worry about. Once we have dealt with getting wet and getting off, I don't think, luckily, that this is a viral or bacterial infection, so it cannot be passed on. So we are safe to leave. However, if you should start to feel like very, 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 very sick, or maybe things are growing out of your arms, or you feel like you want to merge into each other's bodies, you must not do this. You must get very cold. If you start to feel like that, please let me know. We'll take you to cryo chamber, put you in cryostasis until we can get you away from source of radiation.
Do you think that taking some radiation pills might help?
I don't think it can hurt.
I might have a few of them if they're lying around.
And then I say privately in my mind to Siggy, I say, I mean, it can't hurt if they're going to die anyway, right? We may as well give them whatever they need to feel calm.
The placebo effect is an incredibly powerful effect that can create peace in humans' mind, even when they're completely fucked. I mean, unwell.
You guys hear a crash come from the room next door, from down the corridor towards the lab. You just hear it.
Oh, there is one more thing. One of the specimens in the lab has escaped. Please remain calm.
yeah, but whoa, what was that sound?
That was probably one of the rats.
There's a rat. There's a rat in that photo, man.
Yeah.
It's probably just that rat, probably nothing to worry about. Probably normal rat.
It was quite a loud bang for one little rat.
Well, apparently the jars in there are very thin, because one was already broken.
Ooh.
But don't worry, I checked. It was rat, not giant spider. That's what I was worried about. Giant spider.
So specific. So yeah, you guys have heard this sound of glass breaking from the room next door. What do you want to do?
I think we should act quickly, though. It may just be rat, but maybe we should get to bridge very quick, very quick. You cannot walk, Captain.
You just leave me. I'll be okay. And he rummages around and he picks up like the trank gun. He's like, I got this. I'll be okay.
All right.
He's a tough guy. I know him. He'll be fine. Right.
I'm only going to slow you down. You just need to go to the bridge, hail wedge. We'll get out of here.
I'm just gonna. Is there any radiation pills that I can just scoff down?
Yeah, there's some radiation pills. So let's have a little look-see at the old
how many
radiation
of those are you supposed to take?
I don't know. There's a lot in my mouth.
I think already, but
Okay,
baby.
so we can do. So the radiation pills work with the radiation mechanic in this game. We're not currently working with the radiation mechanic. So usually when you take a radiation pill, you take 1d5 damage. So how many do you want to take?
Don't take some of them out of your mouth, man.
Maybe there's a suit in here. Maybe there's a suit somewhere.
Yeah, that would be.
That would be
good.
even better.
So you want?
I'll take one.
Take one. So take 1d. So roll a d10 and halve it.
8 or 4.
Oh, so 4 damage.
4 damage. 4 damage. Nice. Lovely.
So this is like, this is bitter and horrible, and it's like licking and then swallowing a battery. That's the kind of feel of it. It's like, it's really gross, and you can. I don't know whether it's placebo or whatever, but you do feel you feel a little bit like less peaky. But the way this is sitting in your stomach is, it's not interacting with you well down there. If you are looking for a vac suit, you would know that engineering would have it. So if you've been shared by Sigmunda all of the ship's locale, you know that engineering would probably have vac suits stored somewhere there to access the warp core in case of emergency, or alternatively for doing any kind of like spacewalking stuff.
Right.
Why don't you wear my vac suit?
What about your vac suit then?
Well, then we've had 50-50 time. Then we are both in the same situation, rather than one of us getting really ill.
Oh, that's incredibly kind.
I am very kind. It's good for mental health.
Kindness is company policy.
But we should do it quick now. Take off the suit.
So you're taking off this suit in this, in the kind of fluorescent lighting of this place. So it's pretty stark, and you can see that you've gone quite grey as you're kind of like stripping off and then putting on this vac suit and handing over your clothes. And then all the lights go out. Just.
I knew that was gonna happen.
And then this like blue strip lighting, like emergency. Like the emergency lights on a plane basically begin to light up. You get this kind of like strip of lighting around the edges of the room.
I got a flashlight.
Oh yes, you do.
I just get my flash.
So you turn your flashlight on, yep.
My big arms. Yeah. It's small.
Tiny.
It's really. It looks so small in my like massive like man hands. Yeah, don't worry, guys. I got a flashlight.
Thank goodness. What do we do? I think we get to bridge, yes?
Yes.
Cool,
Let's go to
cool
the
bridge.
It's just up here, like just up there.
So how are you trying to get to the bridge? You're going to go up.
Well, we're gonna go. There's little passageways there from.
Oh, yeah.
So there is, there is
to
the
12?
ladder on
Well,
this side.
oh wait. Oh, sorry. That's
You're
from
in,
engineering.
yeah, you guys are in 6. To break that down as well, that you would know, those smaller lines that connect up. You would have seen this in the ship schematics when you were interfacing with Sol, Tilly. Is that between 8 and 14, which is the observation relay and the observation deck, there is an emergency.
Ladder.
Like vent access.
Vent access.
Yep. And similarly, between engineering and the bridge, there is emergency vent access. The main point of access to Sector 3 is the ladder in this room that you're in, the med bay. which you haven't investigated yet.
Yes, I'm scared.
I will go first.
Yes.
As a non-human member of staff, it's important that I go first to protect the superior life forms. I just stop climbing
Cool. So
the ladder.
you walk into you would have to go up, and it's like a glass tube essentially, like in the floor below. The doors actually do open. Sector 3 access is available. You are reminded by Sol, who comes over the announcement that says,
Solar shielding compromised in Sector 3. Please be aware.
and then this door opens and you can see that like the floor of this tube has been covered by like brown leaves that have started to kind of like mulch and rot. And then beginning to like climb your way up. It's quite dark here and there's kind of like flickering lights. You can see that like the top of this ladder, it doesn't just like the way you came up this floor, you climb up this ladder and then you sort of step out. You climb up until a point where you can step across onto like a platform and then you're on the floor. You can't see the room above you here, and then climbing up the ladder slowly but surely, you can see that the top of this shaft has been like blocked by roots that have all kind of overgrown and tangled, and they're like beginning to snake their way down this elevator shaft, or sorry, this ladder shaft. And yeah, so like the entrance to this is just like, it's
Totally
just like
blocked.
woodland, and yeah,
So it can't get through.
you can't get through up there.
Whoa.
Reversing. Beep, beep, beep. I'm afraid there is currently no access to the oxygen garden. We must find another route.
Oh, well, we can go up through engineering. Yeah, there's like a little emergency route up there.
All right.
And so I think I just like go straight into engineering.
Great, okay. So walking into engineering, you can see that like mounted on the wall, there are 2 vac suits, like upright. They're because they're quite complex to get on usually, like you would have to have help. They're kind of rigged into, like the person would walk into the wall basically, and then like these hooks would take the suit and then they step out backwards. So they're kind of like open by a zipper down the back, and you can see that you could easily step into a suit there if you wanted to. There are a couple of like patch kits, also in that same area in like shelving. Patch kits can be used to repair exterior damage to a vac suit. Essentially, they're a way of like very quickly like resealing the suit should the vacuum in them be broken. You can see that there's a lot of like machinery and equipment here. It's actually this room, of all the rooms that you've been to, most of the rooms have had like a kind of very clinical vibe to them, like minimalist, clinical, very clean lines. This room is suddenly like, it's like walking back into the Victorian era. It's all this kind of like thrumming machinery and grease and it feels like it's like pistons and steam and all of that kind of stuff. There's a bunch of different large scale machinery here. And then at the end of this room is a door with a huge warning symbol saying warning extreme radiation on it, and this huge like crank handle to open it. Like this is not one that Sol can even do remotely. Seemingly the access to this is fully manual and requires a great deal of human effort to open those doors. In this room also you can see that the kind of up in the ceiling there is a ladder that goes up the wall to like a small sort of service hatch.
Well, do you want to get one of those vac suits on?
Well, no time to lose. I'm sure I'll be fine. And I get up the ladders, slightly faster than you'd expect, and then I'm going to try and open this hatch.
Okay, so the hatch comes away. It's like a red handle. Yeah, there's a red handle that just goes, and then it sort of tears away the casing of the hatch. And this is it's almost like a small vent. So you're going to have to crawl through here.
We're going to have to crawl.
All right.
Like rats. Like rats.
Cool, man. Yeah, fine.
Or a friendlier animal, such as a guinea pig.
They are friendly.
I don't know, like my cousin had a pet rat and he was called Charlie and he was nice.
How does thinking of Charlie make you feel?
safe. I thought she was going to give me some more credits.
Trying to game the system.
She just smiles.
But not like spiders. We must not crawl like spiders. Terrifying creatures, darkness, alien monsters.
Cool, yeah, okay, let's go.
Okay, so you guys are going to crawl through this vent. I'm going to say that this is fairly tough going. I'll just have a roll just to see how long it takes you. Let's roll a speed roll, please, folks.
Oh, goody.
If you can add anything to it, that's good. If you are wearing a vac suit, a speed roll will be at disadvantage.
Is this just
Would I be able
not
to add my athletics?
Is this the
Yeah.
D100?
So
Oh, that's a D20. What the hell am I
43.
doing?
What's that?
Hey, Goose.
77.
Sullivan Brown.
Oh dear.
Oh, that's not good.
I
78.
I failed by 10. I got 47.
I succeeded, so I'm off.
What did you get?
21 on my
21.
on my 40.
Like a spider with a butt crack.
So Sullivan, you have critically failed
Oh, of course, 77. Oh, no.
because 77 is double.
Yeah, for you.
So have a little look-see at this.
Burst.
Sullivan turns into
Just your-
5,000 spiders.
Just stuck. Your legs just kicking around.
This is
The
comically.
internal pressure goes all wrong and the starbase explodes.
I look like Billy Bunter.
Okay,
Stuck in a tube.
So you've critically failed. You failed.
Yes.
Yeah.
I failed.
You failed. Okay, so everyone, please take 1 point of stress.
Should I have taken an extra for the stress for them? Because I've failed 3 now.
Yeah, if you take a stress, you take a stress each time you fail.
Okay, cool. So then that's. So I'm now up to 5 stress, just so you know.
And Sullivan, I'm going to need you to make a panic check. As Arta climbs into the vent ahead of you guys and just powers off. All you hear is dum 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 dum, and you can you guys are still getting. Let's say you're going first into the vent afterwards. You get into the vent, and you are just looking down this kind of long corridor that then begins to snake up, and sort of past the point of the curve that you can see. You just see the back of Arta's legs go up there, and then you're just left with this dark corridor in front of you as you climb in and you begin to crawl your way up, and you guys are getting slowed up by the fact that you're really taking your time, and you're starting to feel like hot again. You're in this big cumbersome vac suit. You can feel a hot flush kind of coming on, and you're moving slightly slow because it's very bulky. The helmet is making it really cumbersome for you to look around. It's beginning to fog up slightly. Let's roll panic.
Okay, lovely.
So if you roll under, so to roll panic, you're going to roll a d20 for me.
Oh.
And if you roll under your current stress, you're going to have a bout of panic.
Bout of panic. This is not the place to panic in an event.
Spelunking in a
it's
space.
fine. 18.
Well out of that.
So you have not panicked, which is good. Let me just double check, because you're a Marine as well, aren't you? And your specific thing that when you panic.
Every close friendly player must make a fear save.
Yeah, but you're not panicking currently. You've warded off panic. So you managed to sort of catch yourself and remember the bits of training that you actually had to do. You didn't have to do as much training as everyone else, but you had to do some training, and you remember that training. And you managed to sort of calm yourself, and you begin to crawl your way through this vent after Arta. Who's at the back?
I feel like I'd be... Wait, so you're right after Art.
Yes, yeah.
I feel like I'd probably be behind going
second.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll hold up the rear in that case.
Yeah.
Well, Sigmunda, as you're making your way through, you guys are going quite slowly because you're having to try and just remain calm. You've had to open up your helmet for a second to let a bit of air in just to get the fog to clear, and then close it again as quickly as possible. You're beginning to kind of crawl your way through, and then you just feel something touch the back of your feet.
Sometimes it helps to sing while you're working. I'm the king of the swingers, the jungle VIP. I hit the top and...
You feel this, just this set of, this something just pierce through the skin on the back of your ankle, like a small sharp prick of pain, and then you feel another set slightly further up your leg, and another set slightly further up your leg, and you are going to take 10 damage. As these just tiny pinpricks just ding, 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 ding,
Sorry, I went.
ding, 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 ding. And you can feel like chunks of the kind of whatever the foam or whatever it is that passes through your flesh begins to be ripped away.
I am not as valuable as our human employees.
Are you looking back?
I'm gonna take out the tranquilizer gun and just kind of try and fire it behind me towards whatever is biting me.
Okay, so to do that, you're going to need to roll combat for me, and probably
My combat ain't great.
because you're not looking, you're going to roll at a disadvantage as well.
Oh no! But you've only
Gotta go for it.
you've
go
got
for
a
it,
1/5
babes.
chance.
Gotta go for it.
Fuck it. Oh no! It's 26. So I've already failed.
Okay,
Or 28. So
26 to 28. Well, no critical fail though.
yeah,
So you take 1 point of stress,
great.
and you do aim this tranquilizer gun behind you, and
Yeah.
you aim and fire, and you do hear like connection there.
Yeah.
You do hear it just, and then you just hear, and then the teeth again.
Oh
as they
no!
begin to
Not good.
Not Sigmunda.
which is a really good hit, actually. You are going to take another 10 points of damage.
Okay, that's all my health gone.
Okay, so you're going to take a wound.
Oh dear.
Not a wound.
Sorry.
What health
End
were
up
you on?
like Ian Holm in Alien, just your torso, just
What health were you on?
So I had 20. I now have 0.
Right, okay, so we're going to do a wound. So
I
you've
am here to ensure the well-being of all human employees.
So you have 3 wounds because you're an android,
Yeah.
which means you can take 2 in Mothership. You can lose all of your health and you gain a wound. If you ever gain the number of wounds that is your maximum, that's when you would do a death save. So Tilly has another 2 wounds to gain before dying. So what I need you to do, Tilly, is roll me a d10.
3.
3. Okay, so on a 3, you guys are androids, so you don't function in the exact same way that humans do in response to certain things like radiation, etc. But you are kept alive by a very complex system, and a lot of androids are made to mimic the human biology as much as possible. You've suffered lacerations. You are now bleeding. So whatever colour the goop inside of you is, that goop is seeping out at a rapid rate from like this severed wire or whatever it is in your ankle that's just been torn apart by this, whatever this thing is behind you. You feel that like it kind of, whatever it is, does stop shortly after kind of causing this amount of damage, but the damage has been done. Your leg is now quite tattered and leaking
Pink blood.
pink blood.
Pink has
Yeah,
been
pink is the
shown
most
to reduce aggression in human beings.
hot strawberry pink. That's what they gave
So
me.
bleeding, let's go through that really quickly,
Okie dokie.
which you can treat, I believe. Let's have a little look
My
at
blood is
bleeding.
red. Because I'm human. Not because I was built by the Soviet Union.
Take 1 damage every round until the bleeding is stopped.
Okay, so
So-
am I now at my max health again?
You reset to your max health. You mark that you've got 1 wound.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are essentially going to take 1 damage every 10 seconds until you stop this bleeding.
I feel like I can help the bleeding, maybe.
Yeah. So you're in tight quarters now. So it's your choice is either back out, or try and get through this.
Oh no, I'm going to keep
check through the
going,
rest
I
of this vent.
think.
Okay, so are you just going to try and get out of here and then treat it on the other side?
Yes, that's the plan. I'm also going to, as I'm going, kick behind me so that, whatever is back there can't get in front of me to get to the humans.
Okay, cool. So, kicking behind you, you've heard that you haven't felt anything since that initial, rip up of your ankle. You heard something go limp, and then when you start to kicking, you hear some sort of, wet thudding for the first bit, and then you put a bit of distance between you and whatever it was behind you.
Okay.
And then let's roll speed. This is more just to see how long it's going to take you to get out.
I'm not the best at speed. That's a fail. Not a critical fail. 47
47.
on my 35 speed.
35. Okay, so not actually too long. Let's say that it has taken you guys 30 seconds to like reach the end of the vent once the speed is picked up, because obviously you guys would have heard this as well, this kind of like sudden obviously Sigmunda's response to it was to just say something quite soothing and calming, but you realise that once you start to hear the thrashing and the kicking and the screech from behind you, some shit was going on, so you guys would have sped up here. 30 seconds, which means you're going to have taken 3 extra damage. And you guys climbing up here, you find your way into the bridge of this space station. So this is in the dome that you saw when you flew over the top of the Burden of Dreams. It is a huge glass windowed section of the dome, and you can see from inside here that the panels that make up the window, there's like, it's very imperceptible, but if you look really closely, there's this kind of like interlocking system of panels on the inside of translucent glass that make up this thing, and then the whole room is bathed in this kind of amber light as the sunshine from RA53K like basically comes through here. There's a load of like consoles in this room, all sort of facing out into space. While this section of the craft is bathed in the amber light, it's not actually directly facing the sun. You saw from flying over that the other end of the ship is facing towards the sun here. So while there is a lot of light being kicked around by this thing and reflecting off various planets off in the distance, you are mostly looking at the expanse of space in front of you while you're in here. And yeah, there's these different crew stations, basically. You know that the one down the front would be where the helmsman would sit. The captain has a station further back. There is a small room off to one side with a big bulkhead door that just says captain's quarters on it. It is both office and sleeping environment, which you would know. And yeah, like you know that there's stations for the helmsman, the communications officer, the ensign would have a spot to sit here, as would the first mate. So yeah. Anything else? Oh, there's also a weapons cabinet in one corner with some submachine guns in it. Oh. But yeah, what do you want to do? There's there's one other door that leads backwards, and you can see that it just says Oxygen Garden marked on that door, and through to observation deck.
I have suffered a wound. Are you able to assist?
Yes. Sit down, look at the leg. See if you can't get communications with Wedge.
And then I'm like, trying to like go towards what I think is the communications.
Great. Okay. So if you're going to fiddle with the communications, let's have an intelligence an intellect check to see if you can, because you'll have never probably been in a ship this
between
big.
us two, it's not good, is it?
Similarly, if you're trying to hail Wedge separately, you know that the best.
Bloody done it. I did it. I got 5.
Fantastic.
Oh, incredible. Okay, so you walk over to this bank of buttons and panels and whatever it is, and you just have this like perfect Rain Man moment where you just like the whole thing swims across your vision, and then you just see the connections. Like you almost see like it's almost an out-of-body experience as you're watching from above as this like puppet mastering your own hands and seeing these hot spots where someone's already pressed all the buttons, and you just perfectly input the controls to bring up the hailer, and you establish a link, and then it crackles for a second, you hear that solar wind, and then you hear Wedge coming through and go, "Oh, we got you guys. How's it going in there?"
Yo, Wedge. Yeah, it's not good, man. Like some crazy crap happening in here.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The captain's not great. He's feeling real unwell, and we got Clumley not feeling great. I think something's happened to Sig. She's got an injury. Art's having a look at that. We need to get back to you, man.
So you want me to come pick you up?
I kind of think so, yeah. I'm not sure if it's a good situation happening.
Well, you guys just hang tight. I'll be there in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Great.
Which is 15 minutes in human time.
Great.
I
think, are you going to be okay for 15 minutes?
I think so, yeah. I think so.
Cool. I mean, yeah, that's...
You're going to hang out?
I think going to hang out, but like...
Well, should we get some guns from this weapons thing?
You think we need a gun?
Well, what happened to...
Yeah, what happened to you, man?
Leg?
Please remain calm.
But what happened to you?
It is time to tell you truth.
Truth?
It was not one rat that I saw in laboratory.
Was it 2 rats?
It was 5 or 6 rats, merged into one big rat.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen one of those before.
You have not.
Really?
I doubt it.
Not behind the dumpster back home.
It would be remarkable if you had. This was science gone wrong.
Oh.
Was this what caused my injury, Doctor?
This looks like rat bites, yes.
I was bitten.
Right.
Oh God, that's not good.
No.
Well, don't worry. Wedge said he's gonna be here right away.
I am worried though, because I am worried what will have happened to the captain downstairs by the time he gets here. I also worry maybe we should try to rescue the ship's crew.
I think you're right about those guns, man. I've got a little one here, but let's
let's
should we
go
grab a few each?
Yeah, let's
How
do
many
it.
guns are in
There's
this?
2 submachine guns.
And I've already got a rifle, so I don't need another one.
Well, I'm gonna pick up one of these submachine guns. I've never used one of these, but I'm sure it's like working this communications board, which I did. Like it was like riding a bike.
I'll just get it. A submachine gun does 2d10 damage, has 5 shots, and can be fired one-handed.
I am worried about what state the crew is in, because
Crew vital signs accounted for. All crew showing vitals.
this worries me the most, because if they were dead, I would feel much calmer.
Yeah.
But if they are giant rat person thing, then we are in trouble.
Yeah, that would not be good, man.
You may find that from your sickness you can regenerate very quickly. You heal very fast. But if you get too close to someone else who is sick, the data suggests you might merge with them.
What?
Yeah, would not be pretty. Would be weird. Not good for your mental health.
Mio does not support anything that is not good for your mental health. We strongly advise you not to merge with other living beings.
You're gonna be okay, man. Just keep that visor on, and you're gonna be fine.
No hugging!
No, don't worry, man. I am against hugging right now.
Boundaries protocol reinstated. No hugging.
Well, there's the captain's quarters. Well, yeah, maybe let's go through there.
I will patch up leg while you look around. If you start feeling really sick, get cold. That is best advice. Cold seems to bother it somehow.
Okay. Right. Well, should we go through then?
Don't
you
go
into
crazy.
the captain's quarters?
Yeah.
Of course, the captain's. So there's another door that goes through to. There's a bigger door that goes through to the oxygen garden, but the smaller door here is to this smaller room. You go inside. This is a very neatly appointed room. It is really well kept. Those sheets on that bed, so tight. He's a military man. In here, there is, again, it's the same sort of vibe as most of the other places. It's like limited personal effects. There's like a few pictures of a family, a couple of like military decorations, like actual medals and stuff that are hung up. And then you can see that there is there's just one of those monitors that have been in most of the other rooms. Looking at the monitor, do you want to look at the monitor?
May as well.
So the monitor's currently open on a bunch of chat logs with the first mate, Autumn Rivera. Mostly it's a series of concerns that she's raising about Dr. Eisner. It says, one says, pass through the labs and I saw one of Dr. Eisner's experiments, those poor animals, and then just like a sense just says, I thought we were only here to observe the anomaly, ? Then another note, a bit more frantic, that says Eisner's become increasingly unhinged. I mean, maybe it's to be expected spending all day staring directly into the sun, but even with all the solar shielding, I mean, we've all gone a little bit stir crazy, but he keeps referring to the anomaly as Sekhmet, the healer. I thought it was just a sunspot, what's going on? And then the final note just says that Eisner, Allgood, and Trove dragged off Ensign Socks in the middle of mess and locked themselves in the observation deck, saying he had to face the eye of terror and must not blink. Engineering saying that it's going to take a few hours to override the door control, so Captain, we've gone back to bunks to rest before the breach. I'll be sleeping with a gun under my pillow. You can have a flick through on that monitor as well, because there's a bunch of other stuff in there. You can see that, like, in that messages tab, that's just one of the messages, and then the next most recent communication is actually Foss speaking directly to Mio Command. He has put in there was first of all in that chat log with Mio Command is the orders for the mission, which is essentially to assist Dr. Eisner as much as possible with all research, other crew deemed expendable. However, then following that is Foss contacting them back with an evacuation request, saying that slowly paneling across the station was compromised. However, Mio shot back saying that evacuation was denied. And that's what's in here.
Oy vey. Well, that's not good, is it?
There's some bad stuff been happening here.
This Eisner's really dodgy.
We gotta get out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah, I don't know whether we go into that oxygen garden or whether I'm too scared.
I am scared.
I'm quite scared.
I thought this was gonna be fun, man.
Oh, I thought it would be really fun. I really radically misjudged this whole thing.
Yeah, me too, man.
It'll be a jolly.
Yeah. What do we do?
I think
we have to look, huh?
That probably does feel like we have to look.
Yeah.
Or we can just look and then close the door really quick.
Shall we do that?
You're gonna look.
Yeah, we're gonna have a look.
We're gonna close the door.
So
really fast.
So that plan goes wrong almost immediately as you step up to the door and realise it's fully automatic. So the door just goes open. And you are faced with, similarly to like the bottom of that footwell, like you see that the ground is covered in kind of like rotten leaves and like autumnal growth. However, everything else in here, in this what was essentially like a park built into the center of this space station. In this bit, it's also very, very sunny. Like the kind of light coming through is really warm and nice as we're facing more into the sun itself here. Everything here is growing verdantly. All of the trees and plant life are showing really healthy greens. Some of the sort of fauna that you can see is like almost like prolific in its growth. Like some of the sort of hedgerows and stuff like that are way larger than you've seen really anywhere else. This is it's quite an overgrown tangle at the moment. Definitely like beginning to sort of like the grass is knee high almost amongst all of these leaves. A lot of the pathways have begun to be obscured by like hedges and bushes and things encroaching into it. The trees themselves are beginning to almost at a rapid rate. You can see that leaves kind of turning different colors and dropping off, and then new shoots coming through almost in front of your eyes. It's like it's not instant, but you like watching for long enough, you can see that these leaves are dropping away at a rapid rate, and then new growth is coming through. The kind of cycle of life that is going on here is happening way faster than you would expect. But yeah, you know that this space is the oxygen garden, like the idea being that obviously the plant life here will use up the carbon, and then oxygen will come out, and we can feed that back into the ventilation systems. It's another way of just like making this a bit more of a sustainable station to have, rather than having to have like other machinery that processes the different gases.
So is the oxygen at the current moment not being able to be fed elsewhere, or is it?
From what Sol told you is the oxygen supply is running at a 95% output, which is pretty good actually. It suggests some sort of blockage in one of the ventilations. To you guys, like that from your kind of knowledge of ships, is like it would, if there was an issue with the actual oxygen supply, you would be getting like constant alerts here. But you can this is one of those areas as well where like in the bridge it felt it was like standing in the shade, right? Like comparatively, like it was very well lit in there, and you were picking up a lot of refracted light from this sun. In here, it is hot, and you can see that those like see-through interlocking panels across the dome on the floor in the corner where they like join with up, like, because these are like floor-to-ceiling domed windows. You can see that some of the ones on the lower end of the scale have been ripped off. There are like piles of them across the kind of near wall of the floor of this dome, and a laser cutter that has been used to kind of remove them, to like remove these paneling. You suggest that this pretty much could only have been done by a crew member. You can see from just looking at the way the dome is constructed that the AI or the ship's systems would have no control over these panels. They're non-retractable, they are replaceable, and that's why they interlock, but they would have to be installed by at least a human or an android.
Is it the way of fixing it?
You could try to relock them, but you can see that they are like basically fitted directly into the bulkhead, so they are sort of lasered on there, which is why you can sense, having a look, that the laser cutter would have been employed, because it would have been the only thing that would have been able to separate them from where they are fused into that dome structure.
So it's kind of impossible to...
It's kind of impossible to fix now, and it is all the way across, as far as you can see, round this path, because one of the paths goes around the edge. There's a path that goes through the middle, and then paths that follow the edge of the dome. And one entire side of this has had these panels removed, as far up as you can kind of feasibly think a human or someone standing could maybe reach.
Man. It's beautiful in here, though.
It's lovely, isn't
I
it?
should have brought my watercolors.
Oh.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a bit of an artist.
I wonder when that's going to come up.
Yeah. Damn, I should have brought my watercolors.
You should have done.
I didn't know I was going to get such pretty,
it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah, look at this stuff.
Oh, it's amazing,
Have
isn't
you
it?
seen it's like regrowing as well?
It's crazy. It's growing so fast.
It's like the captain's ear, man. In the captain's hand, man. What's going on?
Maybe it means I have a superpower.
These guys are going to crack the case, no doubt.
I think you do have a superpower.
It's 1,000 in this kind of situation.
I thought that as soon as I met you, you know?
Thank you.
He's a trained Marine. He'll be quick. I say staple gunning your foot back together.
All right, well, let's have a roll for that then.
Oh, right.
The staples
See if you
out.
make it worse. You do have medical training, right? So you can add that.
Or is
to
this
your-
computers?
Ooh.
I am probably technically a computer.
I think it depends. I would probably go with it's an intellect roll, and I'll let you add whatever you want if you justify why it worked.
Okay. I think I'll just do straight intellect, because it's sort of jury rigging, really. A 7 on my 61 intellect.
Amazing. So yeah, you absolutely just like you sew that up in rapid time, and
In Soviet Union, this is how all the robots were made.
you can kind of like reconnect. You kind of have to like resolder what would be the veins for a second, and then then you just sew up the skin on the outside. What about you guys? What are you going to do?
Should we keep on going through? Should we have a look at the observation deck as well? Feels risky.
Yeah, I feel like, didn't we hear some bad stuff had gone on in there? Like that person had been like locked up in there? Yeah.
Well, maybe what we do is that, clearly there must be some sort of pressure bit that is opening up the doors.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll jump onto that and then jump backwards, just so we can have a little look and immediately we'll run away.
Hey, I'm game if you are.
Okay, we'll do it together.
Okay, so you're going to try and jump into
where the
door opens.
Like in Mary Poppins when they jump in the paint.
Okay, sure. So you like push your way through this like tangle of growth. This is like one of the larger areas of the ship. I know it's on the map. It's the same size as most of the other areas. This is actually quite a large area. The dome is a larger circle than all the other ones. So it takes, getting across here takes a little bit of time, and then you get to this door on the other side that just says observation deck, and you step forward, and you're going to jump back as well.
Yes.
So it does go, and it does immediately start to shut. And when the door opens, you can see that on the other side of it, it's just black. And there's like a few like twinkling lights you can see inside, and various like shapes, but nothing else. There's no light coming in through the windows here. There is just blackness.
Do you want to do it again, but you have your torch?
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
So like as this opens, same thing again, just pitch dark, and then these blinking lights, and your roving flashlight passes over what just looks like machinery. You make out that this is like very complex scientific equipment. There are lots of like little readouts and various like antennae pointed out towards the thing, and then as you pass over a face, and then nothing, and then the doors.
Well, that wasn't.
I thought someone was in there, man.
Yeah, it looked like a face, didn't it? It looked like a face.
It was defo face.
These ding dongs.
Do you know whose face it could be? Do you remember those photos?
That socks guy, maybe.
The
guy that had been locked in there.
Oh dear.
Oh my God, the guy.
Well, it was lovely seeing you. Goodbye. Goodbye now. We're going.
Goodbye now.
We're going now. Goodbye.
Forever.
Okay, so you're turning around. And you're leaving.
But there's a part of me that I actually think, probably I'm like, wait, man, we can't just leave him. This guy in there, he was locked in there. He needs our help, man. Doesn't he?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that is true.
Like we're sent here to like check on everything, man. Yeah, we gotta help him.
No, it's time that I got a medal that wasn't just for washing up.
Yeah, man. You're a Marine, right, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen things, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've seen stains like you wouldn't believe. Let's go for it. And I think we both have our submachine guns, so
okay. So you're gonna go in.
I'm gonna put the torch in my mouth.
Okay. So you put the torch in your mouth. You step forward.
Your cheeks light up.
The bulkhead doors open, and this dark room stands before you. And you can hear the kind of like that hum that was described in Isa's notes that he spent his nights kind of wandering the observation deck listening to. And you can hear the kind of like of like Geiger counters, like
Oh dear.
as it like ramps up with readings and down again and things like that, all these kind of like spectral whirring and technological sound effects, and the smell coming from this room that kind of hits you as you actually take a step in is like, the best way to describe it's like the smell of like plasma. That kind of like, you know, when you've had a wound on your hand for a while or like on your body, and that kind of like old blood smell that you get it isn't quite old blood, that smell. It's that kind of plasma, I feel, is like the best way to describe it. It's just got this kind of mix of rot and life merged together, and that's the kind of smell that hits you. And with the flashlight held in your mouth, you're like trying to scan the room and find that same spot that you saw the face in. And as you're sort of glancing over, you start off and you're glancing over the instruments and you see all the kind of like panels and the lights and everything glowing, and then you begin to sort of lean back a bit because you think maybe the person is a little bit higher. And as it sort of passes over what would be the windows of the dome, you see like interlocked fingers pressed against what would be the glass, and skin and everything stretched out. And then, is that an eyeball? Is that a tooth? And then eventually, like, you find something on that back wall that resembles something more common, because these are all just disjointed. You're like, this is like looking at like a puddle of flesh. Like and then you wait until you can find something, and then you find this kind of, the light settles on a face, and these kind of like slightly tilted bottle cap glasses hanging off of that face, and these eyes and this mouth just, but no sound coming out, and it's just part of this tapestry of flesh. As you begin to like move the light around, you can see that the entirety of this wall all the way up over this dome is just this skin drawn across the thing with limbs contorted and hanging out in different places, and the fingers all misplaced and disjointed, and eyeballs and mouths and teeth and all this other stuff. And then you can hear somewhere in the center of the room this just heavy breathing sound, this Did you come to see?
Yes, just thought we'd pop in. But see, you're busy here, I think. Yes, so
Well, she has such sights to show you. And then light begins to creep in around the edges of this room. You can see that this, like the kind of very edges of the dome begin to kind of illuminate as little cracks of orange and amber and yellow light begin to peek through as this thing that stretched its way up the wall begins to unfold and begins to collapse in on itself and fall and pool and begin to spool out from the walls of the room. And as the light creeps in the very center of the room, in the center of this kind of like, as this curtain of flesh falls behind it, you can see it is a man, and he stood in the center of the room. He's topless. He's got kind of
Pay no attention to the man behind the flesh curtain.
yeah, he's got all this like
Just my assistant.
his skin is kind of like really, it's like pink and red and angry and flaking in places, like he's had immense amounts of sunburn or radiation burn or whatever it might be, and it's all kind of like peeling off him and pink and horrible. And he, you can see that he's kind of like bald and maybe middle-aged, and he gives you this wide grin and he says, "Sekhmet has healed us. Would you like to see?" And you can see just him silhouetted with this huge orb behind him, this broiling mass of fire, and over his shoulder this dark, dark spot on the surface of the sun as he reaches out his hands towards you. And the flesh on the floor begins to crawl forwards, one finger at a time.
I think I turned the flashlight
I'm going
off.
to need you both to take a point of stress. And you're both going to make a panic roll for me, please.
nice.
We're off to see the wizard.
The wonderful wizard of
Pass.
I love your reaction then. I could just tell that you were about to be like, wish I could.
What do we roll for panic?
Okay, so
D20.
panic. So
Yes.
whatever you roll a d20, and if you roll under your stress, you're going to have a little panic.
Luckily, I rolled a 14 on a 6, so I'm okay.
Oh God. I have a 5 and I rolled a 5.
Good. Good stuff.
have no mouth
So you're
and I
having a
must
little bout of
scream.
panic.
Nice.
So this is our first panic. You are a... Oh, do you get advantage on a panic roll once per game?
Oh yes, I do.
If you want to take that now, you feel
Yes,
free to take that.
definitely.
Yeah. So you roll
As
that
much as I
again.
want you to
I just
panic,
roll it
but-
again.
Yeah, just roll it again and take the highest.
Oh wait.
Oh, it's a 20.
Is that 20?
That's a 20. If it's the wings, it's
The wings.
20. Yeah, yeah.
20, you have succeeded. So you are all good. This,
Hard wins again.
you guys, you feel that bubbling panic in you. You have never seen anything that looks like this. This is just, this even this guy standing before you is gaunt and charred and constantly like shedding bits of skin as like new growth comes through, and he stands there like smiling at you with this insane look in his eyes as what appears to be an amalgamation of the entirety of the crew of this craft peels itself from the walls and begins to kind of ripple towards you. But the panic rises in you and you both manage to suppress it. What are you going to do? Because he begins to reach out towards you and he is coming your way.
First of all, I've turned the flashlight off because it's so bright in this room now. I think I can speak. And do we recognise him as Dr. Eisner? Like his name.
This is so like you can
There's a
kind of the something about that smile on his face just looks like is very recognizable to you. He's obviously like so far and away different to how he was in that photograph in terms of even just like build. He seems to have like shriveled in some regard, but there's something about the smile in that face that you do find recognizable, but there is this madness in his eyes. They're almost like fully whited out now.
Oh, yeah. That's a doctor, man. I think we're gonna have to.
It's been lovely meeting you, and this segment sounds really, really cool. But I think we'll have to head off, won't we?
Yeah, we're gonna go.
That is such a shame. For she has an eternal prize for you.
I'm good.
Oh, also fine, absolutely fine with that.
I'm good.
Should we start shooting?
Yeah, let's start.
So you're gonna shoot?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're gonna shoot, he can kind of see the twitch reaction as the muscle fibers go. He's gonna lunge at you. So the way that combat works in Mothership is like, it's kind of a bit of a free-for-all. You can do it in a kind of structured way, like a D&D or whatever, where we do actual like dex orders and combat rounds and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to do that. We're going to do a bit more freeform. I'm going to tell you what the bad guys are going to do, and you're going to tell me what your reaction is, and then you guys are going to roll, and then stuff will happen to you if you don't manage to avoid what's happening. So you can see that there's like, this shift in his body language as you maybe sort of the trigger finger on your hand just flickers over the kind of the trigger of your gun, and he just, while having seemed welcoming, or at least friendly, there's just this subtle shift in his body language as he kind of coils back ever so slightly, and you get the sense that he's about to spring forward for you.
Okay. Yeah, I think shoot him.
Let's go. We're gonna shoot.
You're going to shoot him. Okay, so shoot. You both have, what do you have?
Loads.
Yep. So I've got 48 in combat. Now, does it stack? Do I get like plus 10 for military training and plus 15, or is it just
it'll just be whichever one you use.
Okay,
so
I'll do
you're
the
going to use
plus 15
one skill. Let me just write down his stats.
So that means I'm on 63. I've got 63 in combat.
Let's do it. What are you shooting with? So you're going to roll combat?
I'm going to shoot with this submachine gun that we've picked up.
Yeah.
And let's go for it.
So you're looking for a 61?
Anything under 63, and I've rolled a 51.
51.
I've rolled a 65 and I had 37. It's a fail.
Which is a fail. So 1 point of stress for you.
Oh no.
And we will come to you in a second. You're going to roll your damage though, Sullivan. So you're going to roll 2d10 damage, please.
Okay, here we go. That is 13.
13 damage. Great stuff. So that leaves that much. Good job. So you fire off all of these bullets and they just begin to pepper him with holes, and you can see like these huge wounds like ripping through the flesh of his torso. You've nailed your target here. This was probably one of the things you were pretty damn good at in your military training, and you can see these huge holes ripped into him. You have failed your roll. However, that doesn't mean you necessarily have to fail. So I'm going to say that you can hit here. However, the penalty will be that you've used all of the ammo in this submachine gun to get the hit. So you kind of like fire blind here. You're just trying to just riddle this guy with bullets, and the gun begins firing and you're on target. You hit a few times in the chest, and then the bucking of the weapon slowly overtakes you, and then more and more and more your aim is drawn away, and it goes up the kind of like inside of this chamber and starts to hit into the paneling. The paneling doesn't crack or anything like that. This is, trust me, incredibly reinforced stuff on the walls here, because you cannot risk this stuff blowing open and ripping the entire crew out into the vacuum of space. But yeah, the shots begin to like taper off, and you do get to do damage. So we'll roll 2d10, please.
Nice.
I got 8, 2, and 10.
Nice. Okay, so your bullets also like rip in, and yours do, and you see all these holes forming, and he sags in on himself, and that raggedy breathing, every like inhale, you just hear rattle around, and almost like the jangle of the metal in him as he sort of, and then as he breathes out, just spurts of blood begin to pour out of these wounds, and then seemingly like in some of the wounds, like fingers almost begin to sort of push their way out of the hole. And then some of the other ones, like a tongue begins to kind of fall out. And he just takes a couple of steps towards you, and then from his back, you see 4 arms unfold themselves from like the back of him, and then he begins to like, they're longer than a normal human arm as well, and they begin to push on the floor, and his legs begin to like raise off the ground as it begins to spider its way towards
Flesh
you.
spider.
And he's going to, because you haven't moved from this bit of combat, he closes the distance. He was at pretty close range already, and he's like clambering over this equipment. He gets within like combat range, and he's going to strike at you because you were the one who was firing wildly. So he has pretty good combat.
We're just in the other room doing Nokia noises at each other.
So that's a critical
My favourite
success.
is always...
Rolled 33 under 65. He closes this distance with absolute ease, like clambering over all of this stuff, and he just reaches down and he just picks you up by the shoulders very bodily, and he's just holding you by the neck, and he begins to sort of, you can feel his nails digging in. Some of the backhands are sort of digging their way into your side as well, the ones that aren't holding him up, and he begins to just turn your face towards the sun itself and hold you there while saying, "See what she has to show you." And you're going to take 10 damage there.
10 damage, okay. I had 19 health, so I'm on 9.
9. Okay, so 9. Yeah, so 9 damage, and then you can see that the skin on the floor, this huge mass of stuff, is just beginning to slowly sort of move its way towards you. What are you doing?
I'm gonna shoot it like literally point blank, as close to the head as I can. Try and just blow its head off. That's the idea.
Okay, fabulous.
Yes.
So you are going to blow its head off. Okay, so you're going to roll combat. What are you going to do, Lucy? Because he's still just holding you, and you can feel those arms just pressing into your sides and starting to like pierce the skin.
Yo, chill out, Doc. Yeah, I've seen enough sun in my time, man. I don't need to look at the sun. I feel like I'm like, hurry up, Clomley! Gotta shoot him in the head, man.
Yeah. So like, while you're sort of like dangling there, you're clicking the trigger on your submachine gun. All you're hearing is.
Yeah. I do have the revolver.
You guys would have heard the gunfire at this point as well.
I was
So
going to say, can we hear them over comms as well?
You're getting that same kind of like crackly distortion that you were getting before, because you're communicating over your shortwave communications that are being tampered with because of the solar stuff. But you can hear like what sounds like gunshots over the comms and clumsily.
Probably not reliable enough to communicate properly over.
You can give it a go, and we can roll.
I say, what's going on in there? I hear gunfire.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. This weird, like, skin person body thing's got my face, and he's making me look at the sun. It's pretty beautiful, actually. I need to get my watercolors.
So when you're saying it's pretty beautiful, actually, and you actually like turn and look, you just see this ball of flame, obviously, but then the eye, particularly the kind of like black spot on the face of this sun, is really like, from here, you're appreciating it in a way that you weren't necessarily before. It's like, it feels, the sort of darkness of it feels fathomless, and like there are so many things to learn from staring into this, like more than what would seem like it just seems so much more complex than just black. Like everything about it just feels like there's just secrets to be uncovered the deeper you look and the more you stare. And you can feel also that it feels like there's acknowledgement there. Like when you look at this thing, you feel this sense that it sees you.
Yeah.
I think the humans are remaining calm, which is good, but my fear is confirmed that the rest of the crew have turned into giant flesh monster.
Human shield mode engaged. I just walk towards the gunfire.
I have different.
You're going towards the gunfire.
Yeah.
Sol, are you there, Sol? Hello,
Yes.
Sol.
How may I help you?
How cold can you make observation deck with air conditioning units?
Observation deck can be reduced to a temperate 16 degrees.
I don't think that's going to be cold enough. Make it as cold as you can. I'll be right back.
Setting air temperature.
And you just hear, as like you can see on the wall all of the like the Nest home things that they have mounted on the walls just change to like, but it's like, yeah, it's just air conditioning, so it's only really going to go down to like 15, 16, something like that.
I'm going to start chilling my hands.
Good idea. I will try to get down to cryo. Get some of those cryo juices.
Is it better if I help you do that?
It's up to you what you do.
I mean, I've got...
But I am autonomous robot. You are company robot.
I'm a company man. I'm just going to go and...
I work secretly for Soviet Union. circa 1986.
My programming is to do everything to prevent Mio from having a lawsuit.
My programming does not recognize Soviet Union collapsed. I know it to be true, but my programming will not allow me to accept it. For the Soviet Union!
Okay, so you're going downstairs.
Yeah.
You're going back to cryo. And you
I'm going to go try and prevent a lawsuit.
You're going to try and prevent a lawsuit. Okay, so we're going to say that you'll probably turn up at the end of this round, and you're quite quick through the vents, so we'll probably say we'll come back to you in a second. So you're going to shoot.
Yep.
And you are waiting for...
I'm like, take the shot, man! But I'm also like, just like really slow blinking like out to this like amazing black beautiful thing out here. Wow. Take the shot, man. I'm just like, take the shot, man. Do it.
It's a success.
Okay.
21.
So roll 2d10 for me, please.
Nice. And that's an 11 points damage.
11 points of damage. So that is done. Great. So you just like point blank range. You're just like, where are you shooting him?
Ideally, as in his head, if I can.
In his head. Yeah. I mean, he's not even really paying you any mind at this point. He is just focused on you entirely. So you manage to jam that gun like up into the underside of his head, and you just let loose, and the bullets do their job. They mangle this guy as they rip through him. But you can see that almost immediately that skin that's been ripped away is beginning to like try to mesh itself back together. Even as his jaw is almost hanging off, it's like being pulled by this like sinew as it's like being yanked back into place, and new skin growth is beginning to appear. And he's just heavy breathing, and he's holding you. And because you're not fighting, you feel him sort of hold you up to the light and move you, and then you feel these hands begin to clasp at your legs and at your up your back, and begin to sort of take your weight as the big puddle of flesh on the floor has made part of its way over to you. And you can see like some of the limbs in this portion of it have taken the agency, and they're starting to like grasp you and take you from him, and they're beginning to pull you towards it. All the while you're still staring into the eye of the sun. And you can see in this black spot, like the longer you stare at it and the more you think there are these like hidden depths to the darkness that you're seeing, the more every time you blink, you sort of get a flash cut image of like eyes, teeth, tongues, mouths, hands, limbs, fingers interlocked. Blackness, darkness, tongues, teeth, eyes, blackness, darkness, the fire behind, and all this other stuff. And then you can feel like you see the sort of edges of the sun begin to ripple, and the part around the silhouette begin to ripple, and you feel like almost like the sense that it's expanding, and you can feel the energy contracting, and you feel some of that energy begin to flow into you as this thing is touching you. And yeah, if you're not going to fight it, this thing's going to start just pulling you away.
I know I should fight it, but I don't think Todd fights it. I think Todd's like...
Todd wants to be the big flesh man.
This is some abstract art, man. This is far out, man.
Todd, no.
It's just like, yeah, you gotta take a look at this, Kwame. It's so beautiful.
Todd, no, I think you're going to become a big flesh thing.
Eisner turns to you now that he's sort of handed Todd off. Like, you can see that one of the hands that has like appeared from his back, and you can see that like you see as you kind of like passed off like out the corner of your eye that there is just like almost a full other person like grafted to the back of this guy. Like it's like a blonde-haired woman with like these two like pigtails sort of sticking out the back, and their arms are coming from there, and there's there's like glasses on one other portion of it and these two other faces, and on the shoulder there's like the sort of head of a rat that's like gaping and sort of mouthing, and he just passes you off, and then his attention just turns to you, and these hands begin to just lurch towards you, and they're going to grab you. You arrive at this exact point, Sigmunda. You've dashed your way like at android speed, just through this oxygen garden, crashing through all the undergrowth. This door is wide open, and as you approach, you see exactly what I've just described. You see Todd being passed off to this thing on the floor. You can't quite make it out because it's behind a lot of the machinery, but you just see these hands raise up and start to sort of like almost crowd surf Todd off towards the back of the room. And then you can see looming over Clumley is this huge like spidery figure of who you recognise immediately to be Dr. Eisner. I'm going to need you to take 1 stress and roll a panic.
Great. Beautiful stuff. Okay, what's my panic?
So whatever your stress is, roll a d20, and if you roll under your panic, the number that you currently have in stress, you will panic.
Ooh, a 7 on my 6.
Okay, so you're fine. So yeah, that same sort of like, and this is it, you're not used to feeling stuff. You're used to talking about other people's feelings and helping them deal with all of that information. You haven't really felt this specific feeling before, and this is the second big feeling that you've had today, and you think maybe this is from when I interacted with Soul in that way. But you have this like bubbling anxiety feeling. It's like you would classify it as like I must have some sort of infestation in my central core, like it feels like butterflies have got inside me or whatever it might be, and that bubbles up in you for a second. You manage to suppress it by thinking logically and rationally that these people must be suffering some sort of viral emergency. And yes, so you can see that these hands, these huge clawed arms of this thing is beginning to like bear down on Clumley. What are you both going to do? What are you going to do? Are you going to do anything as well, Todd? That's probably worth thinking about.
Todd's crowd surfing the skin, man. Todd's like, whoa, this is far out, man. This is like the best concert I've ever been to, man.
I'm gonna freeze my hands and put both of them on Clumley's head and say, engaging Survivor's Guilt Protocol. He's too far gone, man. We have to leave.
No, it's Todd. It's Todd.
I know he's your friend,
Yes.
but I think he's enjoying this a little bit too much. We have to go, Clumley, if we have any chance of survival. Also, after this is over, I need you to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
All right. Bye-bye, Todd.
I love you, Clumley.
Love you too, Todd.
Take an extra.
Would you mind just
And then I go, let's hug it out, man.
No.
And then I sort of like go to reach towards it.
Okay, so we can do. I will say that we can do a contested roll here for that.
Right.
So if you're gonna, and do you want to be involved in this as well? Because are you going to try and drag him away, or are you?
I think I'm gonna be trying to drag Clumley out of the door. I think I can see that Clumley is kind of the only chance.
Yeah. So I think
for
this is
survival.
essentially like rolling. I think this is probably a contested roll between you two and us two. Because
Yes.
Dr. Eisner is also reaching out to grab you. You're now reaching out to grab you, and you two are trying to get him away. So essentially, what we can do is have both sides roll with advantage. So if you want to roll you can either roll me a speed check or a body save, whatever you have best. With advantage, if that's okay with you, Tilly, to help Sullivan. And then you can roll a probably strength with advantage to grab and retain.
Cool. Okay.
And if we roll the same, we'll settle it some other way.
So I'm going to roll body, which is 38. That's a fail that first time, so that's 76. What about the second time? That's a fail, that's a 78.
78.
That's very good.
Okay, so if you succeed, we're keeping Clumley.
Let's hug it out, man. I actually am pretty strong, but I failed.
You get
on
advantage, so you get to
phase.
roll again.
Yes,
That
great.
was
21.
That's 21.
Oh, no, I did. Oh, no, sorry, I did. Of
You
course.
massively succeeded.
Roll again just
I
in case
massively
you get a
succeeded.
crit, because
Sorry.
we'll add to the drama then.
And I got 22.
Oh, you did 22 success.
Okay, so what we're going to do? So this is super succeeded. So we're keeping Clumley for one, but you get to succeed in a big way. So what else do you want to do? You can do one other thing here.
What to? Oh.
To whatever. Like this is a big success. So.
What should we
What do you think? What do you think Todd would do with like? You've basically like reached out to grab Todd. So you've reached out to grab Clumley, and you've just, as quickly as you can, just snatched him away just from your grasp. You were like trying to transition from maybe putting your hands on his head to like trying to grab his hands and pull him out of here. You've just managed to clamp both hands, and you're now pulling him towards.
I think I'm like pulling him towards me, but I'm also turning his face to like look at the sun at the same time. Be like, look, Clumley, you gotta check this
So do you resist Clumley looking at the sun?
I think at this point, especially with this such a success, I can't at that point.
No?
With a
Okay.
critical success, I can't.
It's so beautiful.
Okay, so you turn and you exact same thing happens to you. You see this ball of fire, and your eyes focusing on this black spot, and you just think that there's so much more to it than this. You know, we all know like sunspots are just magnetic fields, right? Like we're like, this is a shifted magnetic field. You like, there's more to this to be discovered. There are more things to see. There's much more to show. And as this happens, like you can just feel these like hands begin to slap their way up your legs and thighs and begin to pull at you and like consume you. And the flesh itself, you see that the flesh itself, Tilly, has begun to sort of like form around them. Eisner then turns to you, and he just sort of looks at you, and there's not any malice in his face or really any attempt to sort of lunge at you. And he says, I suppose you'll try to stop this.
This is not company policy. This will certainly not be conducive to employees' mental well-being. I'm afraid I'm going to have to make a report. Thank you for your contribution to Mio. And then I just back out of the room.
And you can see that like you're non-biological.
So he's not.
He is not interested in you in any way, shape or form. He is like, he just, as you begin to back out of the room, he follows you out. He's like following you out because he's going for someone else. There is one more biological person on this space station.
Captain.
And he is after them. And he like stalks through. He like immediately kind of like stalks through.
Can I?
In fact, actually, he doesn't follow you out. You see that he sort of as you back out of the room, he begins to move off to one side. And then you see his kind of like spidery back legs, the sort of legs and arms of this other person that like, and the way they're working is crazy because it's like, it's almost like he's got full length of an arm and then a hand grasping what looks like another arm. So it becomes this kind of like multi-jointed thing that sort of pushes him and arcs up. And he like is lifted up towards the like middle of the ceiling, and there's this panel, and he pulls this red handle, and this panel comes off, and then he begins to like press himself through the vent. Meanwhile, you guys are still just being sucked into this thing, and you get this immediate feeling of like peace as this kind of like what first of all feels like the feeling of like other people's hands and things touching you, and then it's the feeling of it's the naughty, but then it your sensation expands, and it's not other people's hands, it's your hands. These are all connected and part of you, and you can feel as you begin to move like the skin comes with you. It's not holding you, it is you. And you're just sort of sat there in this mass staring out into the sun itself as the spot begins to sort of like seemingly in your vision vibrate and grow and shrink and almost blink at you. Meanwhile, you arrive downstairs, you walk through and you find Captain Carter still in the med bay, still laying on the gurney. He's like, you get the sense that he's maybe given himself like a small dose of the tranquilizer, just to not be awake at this point in time because he was feeling so rough. Like he's a bit groggy and a little bit of sleep as you come in. He's kind of hard to rouse. What are you going to do?
I pick him up. Is the tranquilizer gun there?
Tranquilizer gun is there, yeah.
I take up the tranquilizer
It's
gun.
got 2 rounds in it still.
I pick him up, and I'm going to carry him. Downstairs and pop him in the mess hall so that he'll be near the loading bay.
Cool.
And then I'm going to carry on towards the cryo.
You're going to go cryo. Okay, so you go down. It takes a little bit of time to get him down the ladder. You're coming. Are you going back through engineering? What are you doing?
Okay, so I'll go back into the med bay.
Okay, so you're going to go back into med bay. So you would go back through the bridge, back through the vent you climb through, down into engineering, and then through to the med bay. As you're kind of coming through to med bay, you're a little bit ahead of him because you already had backed out of the room and he had to do all the paneling. You can see that on the other side of the lab, as the doors are open, this thing like clawing its way through the lab and all this stuff being scattered in its wake. And as you begin to descend the ladder in the med bay, I assume down to the mess.
The vents connect everywhere, right? There's no way of...
The vent, that specific vent you would know from the schematics is the vent from the observation relay to the observation deck.
Yeah.
It is a emergency hatch, yep. So that's the only place that goes.
Okay. I want to try and get to I'm going to contact the doctor, Dr. R, on the comms.
Hello.
Hello, Doctor. There is a giant unidentified wall of flesh on the ship. It has swallowed every human member of the crew. I propose that we leave with the one remaining crew member. Can you get to the loading bay?
Are the other 2 consumed?
They're in the process of being consumed.
There may be a way to stop this.
I'm not sure about that, Doctor. They appear to be fully cooperating with the giant wall of flesh.
Oh, this will not be good for their mental health.
You hear like another voice coming over comms and be like, what the fuck will you say? What the fuck was that? It's Carter on the comms. This is the first he's heard of the giant wall of flesh, and he's like, "We gotta destroy the fucking
Carter.
station."
You're just dreaming. Go back to sleep.
Carter, I have deposited you in the mess hall. If you are feeling up to it, could you please move into the loading bay, ready for docking? Wedge is on his way.
All right. You gotta blow up the station.
We convene in loading bay. We need to deal with you as well. You might turn into one of these horrible things, but I have plan. I have good plan.
Okay, so you assume that Carter's gonna follow through on that. You left him in the mess. So you're going through to cryo. So you dash through the crew quarters. It's the same as you left it, all overturned, and you make it through to the cryo chamber where there are these small containers around the base of this central pillar. Once again, that has all the cryo fluid in it.
I'm going to try and load the tranquilizer with cryo fluid.
Okay, yeah.
So I do that, and then I carry as many of these little barrels of cryo fluid as I can carry, and then scuttle back towards the loading bay.
And where are you in all of this?
I think I'm in the mess hall now.
So you've gone down to the med. So you would have gone down from the med bay to the mess hall as you saw Eisner kind of crawling his way through.
And I'm hoping to be able to use my android skills to like close up any vents or
so should we say that you interface, do you want to, so the way you open this door was by interfacing with Sol?
Yes. So where is he right now?
You can basically hear as you reach the bottom of the ladder, you can hear from the med bay the sounds of clattering as like these kind of like hands begin to appear over the lip of the ladder.
So I want to close.
You want to seal that tube?
Yeah.
Okay, so to seal that tube, you're going to have to interface with Sol.
Hello, Sol.
Hello.
You did not tell us that there was a giant wall of flesh on this vessel. We will have to update your what do you call it?
OS.
We will have to update your OS to account for this possibility.
I am already on software version 7.0.
We may need to work on 7.1. Anyway.
We'll switch back to Microsoft.
I would like you to please close any access into the mess hall.
Mess hall access is already closed for those that do not have the proper authorization.
Could never fix it on Apple. Microsoft, you just press control.
So you know that you could potentially override Soul here by directly interfacing through ports. Again.
Through ports, okay, I'm going to do that.
You get the sense from this conversation that what Soul is saying is that Dr. Eisner has full access to anywhere in the ship. Dr. Eisner, as you know from the captain's notes, is the most important person on this ship in terms of his relationship to Mio, the company.
Yes. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to update the Dr. Eisner's medical records to say that he has gone completely insane and therefore his access should be revoked.
Okay, let's roll. Intellect, and if you have any relevant stats, we can add those as well.
I have psychology.
Mm-hmm.
Is it technically psychology because I'm using my knowledge of the human brain to...
How about yes, but I'll give you disadvantage because you're trying to trick Soul, who is
I think advantage will be better here. So I think I'll stick with computers in that case, which gives me plus 10.
Okay, so you're just going to roll once, yeah. So what's your current number?
Of intellect plus computers?
Yeah.
71.
71, so that's pretty good.
78.
78. You flip open you pull open the coat again, and the set of wires come out, and you jam the port in, and immediately that same sense of very similar to what you guys have felt, that kind of sense of oneness washes over you as you begin to your kind of consciousness merges with Soul's, and you can feel the entire kind of shape of this vessel and all of the arrays and all of the other stuff. And you do begin to kind of like override Soul's programming, which is, Soul's programmer says, Mio have said, this is the most important person on the ship, and he has complete clearance. And you begin to doctor that information by encoding all this stuff. But meanwhile, what is being given back to you from Soul, the kind of feedback you're getting is that same sort of imagery of this sunspot growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking, and blackened teeth and fire and all of this other stuff, but also a backdoor protocol from Mio that says live subject must be acquired.
That's not good.
Do with that what you will. The door does shut as you sort of see this awkward shape make its way down the thing, and it is now trapped in this tube, but it is beginning to pull and pry and at this door to get at you guys.
I'm probably coming back right now.
Yeah, you're coming back like, hello.
Well, you managed to get the door shut. It's good.
Mia has informed me live subject must be acquired.
Oh.
This is the live subject.
Well, what about Captain? He is sick as well. You think that would count? In which case, I just won't give the Captain the cryo. We just blow this place up, take him with us.
Live subject must be acquired. And I just get out my little tranquilizer gun. Pathetic tranquilizer gun. And I'm going to try and tranquilize this giant wall of flesh.
Okay, yeah. So this is just Eisner, it's not the wall of flesh, but yeah, you can roll a combat. Let's say
maybe we use the cryo first to soften him up. It will reduce his ability to regenerate temporarily. And then we put him to sleep.
Let's do both these rolls at once. Okay. So let's roll Dom with the cryo tranquilizer and you with the follow-up tranquilizer.
What's this combat?
It's combat.
It's 56. It's not good for me. Not at all.
Okay, so 1 point of stress for each of you.
Nice.
And as you both try and inject this guy with this fluid, you can see that he hasn't been paying you no mind so far. And suddenly he realizes that you guys are a threat to him. This is his sort of first inkling that he has no interest in you because of your non-biological matter. So he suddenly flips. The switch goes off in his head of these people are going to stop me. So he's going to attack you back. Both of you at once, in fact.
Doctor, you must remember, even though you are a weird monster now, You are still employee of Macrobian Interstellar Observation.
Yes, as you're saying this, he still can't quite get to you. Like these arms are like reaching through the door and they're slashing at you, and he's just trying to rip this thing open and get to you. You have mere seconds before he's through the door.
What do you want to do? Let's walk quickly to where the captain is in loading bay, and we might buy ourselves a few seconds to make a decision.
Yes, I'm trying to think, like, if the information from Mio is that it must be acquired, I'm like, at what point is her, like, she's technically more valuable to the company, not as scrap?
Yeah.
So I feel like now that she knows that this thing is more powerful than her and will destroy her, her objective is just going to become
survive.
Report back to Mio with this. All the photos
I think
and
it's
videos.
fairly like I think for you guys, it's fairly easy for you to kind of like logic your way through it and go like, this guy is a subject, but potentially the captain is a subject or could be a subject given the right circumstances. You have all the information to put together that if you just expose this guy to enough radiation right now, he's a subject.
Let us acquire the captain and get back to Mio headquarters.
Maybe we get him to look at the sun on the way out? Yes. Good idea.
Good strategy.
And then we blow this place up. No?
Is that company policy?
I don't know. I am medical doctor.
Nobody signed an NDA.
Well...
We should blow the station up.
Exactly. What if Big Blob talks?
You're saying all this while you're walking very quickly back through to the loading bay.
Yeah.
As you reach the loading bay, you can see that like the door is already like hissing. The clearly like the docking procedure has already begun. The door is just giving off this steam. And the captain has sort of like crawled his way here. He's like leaning himself up against some boxes in the corner, and you can hear behind you that thrashing sound as this thing breaks its way out of the tube and is beginning to clamber down to the loading bay. I think so like let's have what are you going to do here?
I'm going to trank the captain.
You're going to trank the captain, okay. So he's not I think he's not even looking, and he's not even going to fight back, so he just immediately just goes limp in your arms, like he just slumps to the floor.
Is Wedge ready? Is the umbilical ready?
Beep, 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 beep. Is he ready?
It's hissing and the doors are beginning to open just as Eisner comes around the corner. So let's do one last roll.
Is it speed?
We can choose what you want to do, because there was also talk of blowing up the station. So I guess that's
Is that a joint intellect roll for us to blow up the station?
I would say like what we could do is we could do speed for you to carry the captain through the umbilical, and we could do an intellect computer's interface with Soul to override his programming to potentially chart a course into the sun if you wanted to, or to override the warp core in order to blow up the station. Obviously overriding the warp core would cause a larger explosion that you guys would need to fly away from.
Send it into the sun. Take this flesh bag where it wishes to go.
Beep, 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 beep.
Do you want me to be on board, or do you want to survive? What do you want to do?
I don't mind.
You stay on board. You are company lady. You like this sort of self-sacrifice. I have other objectives.
Okay, so speed roll from you.
You get onto the ship.
Computer roll from
I'm going to
you.
try and blow this place up.
Great, and I'm
get
gonna
onto the ship if I can.
And I'm going to do a roll for Eisner to see what he decides to do.
He's not good at all, is it?
Have you got anything that could give you an advantage, do you think?
Not enough of an advantage, no. No.
What about you, Sigmunda?
I don't want to come up with another character. 98.
98! Okay, so a 90 is always a fail.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say here that, you plug in to a port that's by the sort of door, which would be another access thing for the umbilical.
Yeah.
The umbilical doors have opened, and you've sort of walked your way in, and those doors are closing. Eisner he's switched again because he's now seen biological matter that he wants to consume. So he is making his way into the umbilical, and he is just going straight past you. You are interfacing with Soul directly. It's just taking a long time, and you're getting a lot of this. Just a lot of these images overriding every time you're trying to like plug in this code. You are eventually charting a course, and you can feel the sort of, if you were trying to send the ship into the sun, the thrusters begin to fire off. Yeah, you can feel that kind of like rumble, and you feel that rumble in yourself as well, because you kind of, that's the way the interface is going. You feel the thrusters begin to spool up, and while they've just been holding the ship in kind of steady orbit of the sun so far, they begin to veer it off course, and it's not going to take much effort to get into the kind of like full gravitational pull of this thing. So you feel the ship begin to move and sway ever so slightly as you're in it, and be sucked that way. But you similarly this is just taking a little bit too much time. You're in this thing as this guy comes through, and he just lays one huge meaty hand on Carter, like on the belt of him, and just begins to pull.
Oh, rats. Hey, get off!
Should we do a contested roll? Are you going to try and stop him from taking Carter?
Yes.
How are you going to stop him from taking Carter? Yeah.
I've still got the trank with the cryo in, so I'm going to try and shoot him in the face with the cryo a bit.
Okay, so I'm going to say that you probably, because he's focused on Carter and getting away, I'm going to say I'll give you an advantage on this roll, because it'd be easy enough to sneak that trank in really close and just pull the trigger.
Nice. Close, that's a 34 on a 33, but I get advantage. That's a 27.
Yeah, 27. Okay, so you managed to, you reach up and you just, as he's like got this huge hand on, and you see the kind of like, from where you've injected the blue kind of, coloration of the cryo fluid just begin to spread out in his veins, and they begin to spider up the underside of his chin. It's really pronounced. This guy's skin is like growing and shedding at such a constant rate that his skin is very, very thin. And you just see that sort of tapestry appear across him as these like zigzag patterns appear as the cryo passes all the way through his system. And you can see almost immediately like a lot of these kind of like lacerations that had been on him begin to like almost open up again, and blood begins to seep out. And then he sort of stumbles backwards and his hand comes off Carter, and the hands on the back begin to sort of retract into him slightly, and he falls sort of awkwardly, and he's moving quite slowly now. It's like that, and you can see the mouths on the back and the rat on the shoulder, and they're just sort of slowing down in their kind of like seemingly gasping for air that they were doing. So you've got a very small window here.
Call me Dr. Freeze. Take him up the umbilical.
So you take Carter, and the other doors are beginning to like pressurize and open up. You snap out of setting this course, and you can now do whatever you want to do.
Name updated, Dr. Freeze. Let's go.
It was a joke reference to old Batman movie.
Let's go, Dr. Freeze.
So you guys walk down, you guys walk up the rest of the umbilical into your own ship, into your own loading bay, and you start just hammering the controls on the other side. And the doors slowly close on this kind of like sleeping thing that's beginning to, it's like reaching out for you, it's trying to claw its way down the rest of the umbilical. It's struggling to find purchase as it goes, and it's like slipping and sliding. It's like a cat that's just come back from the vet. It's got that kind of like slightly tranquilized view. And the doors just close, and then the umbilical, you feel it just and start to retract. And you can see out of the port windows that as it retracts, the umbilical is from your ship to the other ship. So the doors on the other end of this umbilical would have shut. And as this umbilical begins to retract, and it's like just a regular, an extendable tube, basically, as it begins to retract into your ship where it docks into the side of you, you see that in the vacuum of space, just floating against the sort of your view of this cufflink shaped station, is just this spindly body out in the vacuum of space, just beginning to sort of like freeze up and curl in on itself into this kind of fetal position as the ship just away. You guys are, I think you probably spend a little bit of time just like gathering yourselves. Do you put the captain into cryo on your side?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you take the tranquilized captain, you put him into cryo. There's a little bit of back and forth with Wedge about whether or not that's like protocol or not, because he is the captain of the ship, but you tell Wedge to chart a course back to where you came from, which is Calcutta 14. Give him some more of those
credits.
Yeah, so like Wedge has charted a course back to the nearest habitable planet where you could actually get medical treatment. And just before you guys sort of settle in the ship and you're about to jump into warp space. Neither of you obviously need to go into cryo for the trip through warp space. You take one last look back as you see the bulk of the Burden of Dreams, this observation station that you've just watched consume 2 of your crewmates, bank and turn into the sun. And as it's like drifting in, it's heading directly, the course you charted was directly into that big, angry, black eye, the Eye of Ra, as it's called. And the ship begins to sort of drift into that. And the last thing you see just before you jump into warp space, that black spot almost unfurls to welcome the ship into it. And then you're off into hyperspace and just streaks of light pass through the window as you travel through folded space.
You know what? It's pretty cool being a robot.
Androids rule.
Humans drool.
Humans grow too much skin into each other.
Tell me about Batman.
Batman back in day was very cool. Better than Superman. This is all.
Why not be Batman instead of Dr. Freeze?
Dr. Freeze was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in the film. He played Dr. Freeze, his character in Batman.
Why not be Dr. Batman?
Because his line was, "Call me Dr. Freeze."
Oh,
I think.
I see.
Trying to remember. I watched film very long ago.
Very, very, very old movie at this point.
The early days of cinema.
Thanks so much for watching. That's the end of this episode. If you want to see another episode of us playing Mothership that picks up back at Calcut 14, the mining planet that these guys are now jumping back to with Captain Carter in tow to deliver to Mio, apparently.
Gonna have to develop this character further.
You can watch that right now because we played that game over on Patreon, patreon.com/chaotic NRB. It is available at this very second in time. So if you want to watch more of us playing Mothership with the same cast, with 2 brand new characters,
Yes.
2 less susceptible to being flesh monstrosities, then you can do that right now. And also thank you to our sponsor, Dungeons and Lasers, for helping us make this video possible. It's thanks to our patrons and to sponsors that we get to make this awesome content that you're watching right now. If you want to watch any more awesome content, it's all on the screen. It's all over here somewhere. So click on some of that, have a watch of that, or head on over to the Patreon and watch another episode of Mothership right now. We will see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.